Everybody, it's the Mike Missanelli Show. That's a special day. It's a General Knowledge Wednesday, but it's also, as you can see, Backwards Hat Bro Day, as we are all rocking a backwards hat. Now, I haven't worn a backwards hat in a really long time. I decided to rock one today in honor of Bill, who at age 52 is still rocking the backwards hat, and he's got his on today. Bill likes to rock the hat that has the adjustable plastic piece.
I do.
I don't roll that way. If I'm going to rock a backwards hat, I got to have a little Velcro felt action going on here to class it up a little bit. And this happens to be a Ryder Cup hat, Bill.
It's a great hat.
It's a good-looking hat.
And it looks good on you backwards.
And Ray, who did the backwards hat a little bit yesterday, got rave reviews, said he was going to be done with the backwards hat forever. But in the spirit of the Mike Missanelli Show, he's got it back on again. He's got the polo backwards hat.
Also looks good. Now, you got the Velcro. He's got the nice cloth with the metal. I got the trucker hat look.
I would usually go with what you got going on.
Yeah, I like the trucker hat
I like
look.
the trucker hat look with the adjustable plastic band.
But you probably got the hat of the day with that Ryder Cup hat. I like that.
This is not a bad hat to go backwards hat with.
Nah, it's a good one.
So you tell me how ridiculous I look as an older man with a backwards hat. You know, perfect. I put myself on the firing line for this. But in the spirit of Bro Day, you know, we're going to do it.
Bro Day. And for the record, I know I look old. I'm not 50. All right?
52.
Don't make me older than I am.
Yeah. But in any event, the Phillies tomorrow day, open the season. And it's time to really get serious about this whole thing. And by serious, I mean it is time to examine the Harper factor, the Harper effect. He is now going into his, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, his 7th year as a Philadelphia Philly. In addition to that, the big 7, as they call them, if you want to include the Castellano, Schwarber, Wheeler, Nola, you get to 7. I forget who else they put in that top. JT Realmuto. This is their 4th year together. So there are 2 separate issues right now. Now, one is the Harper factor. Now, I know baseball is a different thing, and I've been saying it for a lot of years. But a superstar has that hanging albatross of you're not a total superstar unless you lead a team to a championship. We've gone through it how many times with Joel Embiid? We go through it with other athletes in this city. Well, he didn't win the big one. So Bryce Harper has not won yet. Is it fair to say that the Bryce Harper tenure here will not be 100% favorable unless the Phillies win a championship? And where is he right now with the fan base? Is he still as revered as he once was? When he first came aboard, oh, my God, he was revered. That press conference that they had on the field, people were excited. Jack, they thought that was going to lead to a championship sooner than later. And here the Phillies stand as they open the season tomorrow, having lost the World Series, having lost the NLCS to an inferior team, and having lost in the first round to the frickin' Mets, with the hitters all going kablooey when it really counted. So, Bill, I know that lately you have been, well, I don't know, you haven't been down on Harper, but you've been a little jaundiced-eyed about Bryce Harper and his effect right now on what the Phillies are. So, how do you feel about going into this season, his 7th season with the Phillies?
Yes, it's an interesting dichotomy for me. Is that the right word?
Nice.
Is that a big word, Ray?
Nice
SAT
dichotomy,
word.
Nice.
But it is. It's an interesting dichotomy for me because I get frustrated with Bryce. I think that the pandering is over the top at times. I've been frustrated because I think what he wants, he gets in terms of where he's going to bat in the order and where he's going to play on the field. But at the same time, I don't blame Bryce Harper for this team not accomplishing the ultimate goal of a World Series.
Because it's baseball?
Well, because it's baseball, and Bryce, outside of Game 6 and 7 of the NLCS against the Diamondbacks, where he also went cold, he's been unbelievable in the postseason. I mean, the reason you got to a World Series when you did a couple years ago was because of Bryce Harper, and he has delivered in the biggest moments. So I am frustrated with him at times, and I think the pandering's over the top at times, But then you also have to acknowledge that Bryce Harper has done his part in terms of production in big moments and coming up in clutch moments. And a lot of the reason we're even here talking about is this window closing is because Bryce Harper started all of these stars wanting to come here. Like he changed the franchise. So it's an interesting conversation because I'm not sure where I am with Bryce. Is if they don't win this year and the window officially closes and they never win a World Series, I think that, yes, Bryce Harper's time here would have kind of a black cloud over it, that they didn't accomplish the ultimate goal, but you would look back and say he's one of the best players to ever put on a Phillies uniform who did show up in big moments. So I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay, now let me take the pulse of Ray, who is a big Philly man. Ray, Bryce Harper, can he do no wrong in your eyes? Does he have the same unanimous approval that he did in the past?
No, immunity's been taken from him. You can't be immune to criticism. You can't take that level of stardom and just wipe away any sort of critique. I know that Bill brings up Game 6 and 7 of the NLCS, but I think this goes back to a conversation we had when we were talking about Saquon Barkley being the best free agency signing, and I've tried to make the case for you that Bryce Harper was. Bryce Harper ushered in an incredible era for the Phillies. Bryce Harper hasn't been the reason that this incredible era has not succeeded for me. I think people are getting more annoyed with him off the field than they are on the field, with the pandering, with this, with that.
You really think the fan base gets annoyed by it? Well, we get annoyed by the pandering. You think the fan base gets annoyed by it?
I think people are more like, hey, just go win for me. I don't need you doing the fanatic tattoo thing.
I think that's a minority view from fans.
I think that
most of them eat it up.
But I think they go hand in hand. Even though Bryce Harper's not the reason this team doesn't have a World Series, I'm not blaming him for that. But I think the pandering starting to annoy people goes hand in hand with the fact that they have come up short 2 years in a row in the postseason, and they've done it in kind of epic fashion with the bats going cold, where people are like, all right, look, stop pandering and let's just win a damn World Series. I think if they would have won the World Series 2 years ago, we would all be fine with the pandering probably.
And I think there's some people now that look at problems with this team and look at the lineup, look at the roster and say, all right, these are a lot of people that Harper wanted here, and they're not produced. I mean, chiefly among them is the fact that he lobbied here for Trey Turner, and so far through 2 years of the Trey Turner contract, you feel like you've got the return on what you've invested into that guy.
All right, so where do we stand right now with this Philly team? And I tried to compare this. Like, the Embiid thing is like, okay, you're not great until you win a championship. You got to lead a team to a championship. You can't get out of the second round. Well, the Phillies did get to a World Series, but they really are going backwards now in the Bryce Harper era, unless this is a turnaround season. And when you look at it, their projection is not going to win the division. And so they're going to have to come from behind again, and the first round series might be against the Mets. So I don't know what we're talking about here with this team. Now, there's an interesting story on the preview of the Phillies where Dombrowski is, Middleton is quoted as saying, I hired Dombrowski to win now and to win later. And I think what he means by that is he wants the Dodgers here. He wants to be the Dodgers. He wants to win now. Yeah, you figure out a way to put your veterans in, but also figure out a way to build your farm system so we can win later. That's the mandate he's given him. He's given him a Dodger mandate. So where's Dombrowski figure out in all this?
Yeah, and I've been critical of Dombrowski. You were critical of Dombrowski this week as well when we look at some of the moves he's made. But that does handcuff him a little bit because you go back to last season's trade deadline when you had a really good baseball team. They clearly didn't want to give up some of their top prospects to go out there and try to get a better bat than Austin Hayes in the outfield. So it does handcuff him a little bit in what he can do because you're not going to trade prospects. But I also understand what Middleton's saying. Yeah, we want sustained success. But when you have the third highest payroll in baseball like the Phillies do, they really shouldn't have to give up prospects to win a damn World Series.
Bill, I'm not talking about giving up prospects for any big name. I don't need any more big names. What did I ask Dave Dombrowski to do for this offseason?
You wanted a right-handed bat and you wanted a deeper pen.
Yeah. Now, this is bargain. This is dollar store stuff. Like I've asked Dave Dombrowski to do this. Find a better right-handed outfielder than Weston Wilson. But what did I do? Ask him to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower? Like what? Come on. What are we talking about here?
But I'm going to ask you what you asked me all last season down the stretch. Who?
Bill, Bill,
Like at the trade deadline last year, I wanted
if
that.
I was a general manager, I'd have a board in my office, and I'd go through the thing. And I guarantee you that I'd be able to find one right-handed hitter that would be more productive than Weston Wilson for me. And this is not against Weston Wilson. He is what he is. He's a 4A player. I want a major league backup player. That's a different category than a 4A player. That's all. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, and then this brings us now full circle back to the Bryce Harper conversation. If there wasn't a right-handed bat in left field, then maybe they could have signed somebody that could have been a right-handed bat at first or third.
Are you alluding to something that was discussed by baseball people?
I am. And then maybe you move Harper to left.
We'll discuss that in a little bit, where that changes the dynamic of the Phillies infield and outfield. But in the meantime, it's 610-632-0975 because it is General Knowledge Wednesday. We're going to try it for the last time today, folks. This is it. If we don't get people participating via phone calls, we can't do General Knowledge. But we're going to try it one last time today. Ray versus the audience. We'll give you the topics after this, and a gift card to a restaurant is at stake today. It is the Mike Missanelli Show as we inch towards the opener tomorrow of another baseball season. We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and
What's the chat board saying about the bro look?
They like it, but it's been mixed on whether or not it needs to be fitted to wear backwards, whether they like the trucker hat backwards. A lot of mix. But I'll tell you, an over-the-top reference was made in the YouTube chat. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Over-the-top reference.
They said you put the hat backwards when you got to lock in for over-the-top. Neither one of you know the movie, do you?
No.
When Sly, baby, was an arm wrestler.
I knew that movie. What was it? That wasn't Victory, was it? What was that movie?
It was called Over the Top.
Oh, it's called Over the Top?
Yeah, and then he was a truck driver. And remember, he used to exercise his arm in the truck to get the
I never,
you don't remember that,
I never
right?
saw Over the Top. Have you seen every one of Stallone's movies?
I've seen a lot of them.
Have you seen every one of them?
Probably not, but I've seen a lot.
Have you seen Victory?
I don't think I've seen Victory.
Victory was it was a soccer thing?
No.
A soccer thing?
I've never seen Victory. No.
Yeah, look up Sly movies. I want to see if you've seen them all. Because you look like a Sly meathead.
Oh, I used to love him.
Yeah, I see.
When I was a kid,
typical character, man.
When I was a kid, him and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Like True Lies was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
True Lies wasn't a bad movie.
It was James Cameron.
Yeah, that was a good premise.
All right, where do we start?
Schwarzenegger's kid is in The White Lotus, season 3.
Oh, his kid's an actor or actress?
His kid, his son, but with I guess Maria Shriver, is one of the stars of season 3, The White Lotus.
Did not know that.
Jack.
Didn't know that. Now, Sylvester Stallone's son was in Rocky V, but unfortunately he passed away. And he was also in that movie Daylight. Remember the movie Daylight when they get stuck in the tunnel?
No.
Yeah, it was a good one, too.
See, this is what I'm saying. You were a Sly devotee.
So he's just, every movie.
You have seen every Sly. I'm guaranteeing you've seen every Sly movie.
Not every one.
Yeah,
but I've
I'm
seen
telling
a lot.
you, you've seen every one of them. Don't lie to me.
Not every
You
one.
look like a Sly bonehead.
I'm looking at his filmography right here.
Yeah.
And I don't think
What
so.
have you not seen? Go down the list of movies.
Well, where do you start? Because I was born in 83, but I saw a lot of them. Like in 76, obviously Rocky. 78, Fist. I never saw Fist.
You never saw Fist? That was a Union movie.
Never saw that. Paradise Alley.
Paradise Alley was horrendous. Have you seen it?
I think I have.
Okay.
Rocky 2, yes.
Uh-huh.
Nighthawks and Escape to Victory in 81 did not.
You did not see Nighthawks?
No.
All right.
But now-
I've seen Nighthawks. Man, I'm ahead of you so far.
Now it starts. Rocky 3 and First Blood in 82.
Okay, well, you didn't miss any of the Rambo.
John Rambo, baby.
Bill always wished he was Rambo.
Yeah.
You see him get in front of the mirror, Ray, going, doing Rambo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could just see it now.
All right, what else we got here? I didn't see this. Staying Alive.
Staying alive.
Oh, he was just a man on the street, it says. Rhinestone. Never saw Rhinestone.
Oh, Rhinestone with Dolly Parton.
Rambo First Blood Part 2, yes. Rocky 4, yes. Cobra, yes. Over the Top, yes.
Cobra.
Rambo 3, yes. Lock Up, Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's been a while. Rocky 5, yes. Oscar. I actually did see Oscar. It was a terrible movie.
Every movie he's in is terrible.
You remember this one in 92? Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? I remember that one. Oh, this was a great movie, Ray. 93 was a great year for Sly. Cliffhanger and Demolition Man. Oh, yeah. Cliffhanger and Demolition Man were great movies. Great movies.
What was the movie he did with, no, not Cliffhanger. What am I missing? Keep going.
You're probably going to get there in 95. 94, The Specialist, which is good. 95, Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
Remember that one?
Horrible.
Armin DeSanti was in that movie.
Yeah, but that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Assassins was good. I think who was that? Was it the dude from Desperado?
All right.
Antonio Banderas.
It's not the one I'm thinking about. I'll make fun of that one a little bit but it's General Knowledge Wednesday today. So if you want to take part against Ray today, we're going to give it one last shot. General knowledge categories, easy general knowledge, world history, general knowledge, easy world history quiz for dummies. And we're going to go give me 3 again with the remaining NCAA tournament teams.
All right. I think Ray's going to win.
All right.
I think Ray will
And
win.
again, you got at stake, you got a $100 gift card.
No, not $100.
No, 50.
You got 4
50.
tickets.
What is
4
it?
tickets to the Sixers game on March 30th.
Oh, okay. And,
But-
$50 Rita's gift
Yeah,
card.
to make it a little bit better, to sweeten the pot.
Literally.
No pun intended. But Rita's gift card, $50. That's a good one.
All right. So we're talking about the Harper factor. Hasn't won yet. What's the mandate for the Phillies with Harper? 7 years in. I know he's going to be here for another 14 years. I get it. But can we wait 21 years for him to win a championship with Bryce Harper? I'm not so sure. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. Phillies baseball back on us. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're now under a month away from the NFL Draft, and one of the big questions for the Eagles is what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about what the future holds for Dallas Goddard.
I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
And we will see what he may take with the restructure or if the Eagles make a move. We'll keep you updated with any of that. Phillies season opens up tomorrow in D.C. against Nationals. Zach Wheeler on the mound, opposed by Mackenzie Gores. The Phillies open up their 2025 campaign with a 3-game set down in D.C. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, a tough night for the Flyers. They lose 7-2 to the Maple Leafs last night. A tough matchup tonight when you're talking about where teams are in the NBA between the 76ers and Wizards down there at the Wells Fargo Center. The Wizards come in with the worst record in the NBA. The 76ers tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. They match up tonight. You catch the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. Expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Harper. Get on my back type of thing. Should be able to carry somebody to a title, no?
I don't know, man.
Not in baseball?
Not in baseball. I think
Yeah,
that
you're the one that never gives solace to baseball. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's baseball. I get it now.
Well, what I don't like when you say it's just baseball is when I tell you I want Rob Thompson to do something down the stretch last year, and you say, well, it's just baseball. There's nothing he can do. That bothers me. But when you talk about it's just baseball, Bryce Harper, I think, has done his part. He could only do so much to win games. It's not like you made the analogy earlier about the Sixers and Joel Embiid not getting out of the second round. I think that's a little bit different. I think a star like Joel could propel a Sixers team to go farther in the postseason. I don't think Bryce Harper could go 4 for 4 every game in the postseason.
And still lose.
And they could still lose.
No, you're right. You're right about that. But as far as Rob Thompson goes, I think you're wrong. And here's why. Because a manager, and I'm not saying he's a brilliant strategist. I'm not going there. A manager has to know his people. And so when you know your people, you go, okay, I have to play this a certain way because I know this is a veteran team, and I can't be big timing them with lineup changes and this and that because that makes it worse. Now, he may be wrong when it comes to that, but like you want knee-jerk stuff, and veteran baseball managers who know their people don't do knee-jerk stuff because they reason that it's worse to do knee-jerk stuff. So that's why they rely on what they know, which is to know your people. I've got a club, as Dave Dombrowski likes to say. I got a club that likes the familiarity of where they're playing or where they are in the lineup. And that's how I get the best out of them. Now, you may disagree with that, but a manager can only be true to himself and his people.
You say that, but then at the same time, it's the same manager that benched Bohm last year in the division series, platooned Bryson Stott and Mundo Sosa in the division series against the Mets.
You don't have a problem with platooning Bryson Stott. You like Sosa.
I did like Sosa last year.
Well, then what's the big deal?
What I'm saying is that you're kind of giving him the credit of having it both ways. It's like down the stretch of last season when the team was playing average baseball and it was obvious to everybody, well, he's using patience because he knows his players. And then it almost was like a panic move.
Hold on a second. The panic move. Well, okay, but you wanted the panic move. That's exactly what you want. I thought it was wrong to bench Bohm. By that time, you don't bench Bohm. You keep him in the lineup. You could have cured that earlier in the season by putting that message out there if he's going to mope around. But the fact that he benched Bohm should play right into your hands.
All right, well, then let's go back to him knowing his players.
Okay.
It was obvious to everyone 2 years ago that Craig Kimbrell didn't have it left, didn't have anything left. He was going to walk somebody. They were going to get the first. He can't hold a runner. The guy's going to get in scoring position. It was like watching a bad story over and over and over again. So if it was his job to know Craig Kimbrell, he didn't. Last year, Hoffman, as good of a season as he had, wheels fell off the bus in the postseason. He didn't know. Topper didn't know that Jeff Hoffman didn't deserve to be out there at those big moments. He kept rolling out Orion Kirkring, even though it looked like Kirkring, the moment was too big a couple years ago. So it's like you can't have it both ways. Does he know his players? Because if he does, he's not pressing the right buttons.
There's also, if there's an alternative, and you seem to think there was an alternative to Kimbrell. Like, who was it? Who was the alternative to Kimbrell? Who was the alternative to Jeff Hoffman, who had been successful in that role all year?
Well, maybe you don't take Wheeler out as early as you do.
Okay, well, there was one game where he took Wheeler out early.
Yeah, but maybe you don't. I mean, if you truly know your players.
I agree. He made a couple of mistakes. I'm talking about in general on how you manage the team. And I'm not endorsing his methodology. I'm saying this is what a veteran manager with a veteran team thinks gets the best out of his players. And if he's wrong, he's going to fall on his face, they're going to lose, and he's probably going to get fired if they don't do anything this year.
You think so?
I don't know. I don't think anybody gets fired with this team.
I think but if they miss the postseason, he's like when we talk about hot seat for Thompson that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. If they miss the postseason, I think he's gone.
What happens if they don't advance in the playoffs? If
talking about
first round wild card series they lose to the Mets, then what? They're in the playoffs. That satisfies your criteria. They're in the playoffs. They lose the first-round series to the Mets.
It is an interesting question.
What happens to Dombrowski?
Yeah, but that would be 4 postseasons in a row.
That's what I'm saying. What are the stakes of this season? I know people say, well, you have to enjoy the season. No, you can't ignore what the stakes are for a season like this. Because if they don't get past the first round, what happens? This is what I'm looking at.
So I keep going back to our Sirianni discussion because when he was brought back this year, a lot of us talked about, well, what does he need to do? And I felt like if he wins a playoff game, his job would have been safe. I felt based off of what he had done the first 3 years, all he had to do was win a playoff game. So if we apply that same rationale to Rob Thompson, similar trajectories from the both of them, does he have to win a series? If they win the wild card,
any question that he has to win a series.
But what if they win the wild card series, and then they lose in the divisional series? Not to the Dodgers, to a different team.
To the Braves.
It would probably be the Braves, right? Because if they get the first wild card spot,
you can reason that if they lost to the Braves were better in a longer series. However, you then look at the general manager and said, "You didn't make this team better than the Braves." You had the team better than the Braves. All of a sudden, the Braves passed you like a car that was trailing, and they had more horsepower to get past you. So the general manager would then have to take the heat because he didn't do his job to make his team better than the Braves.
Oh, man, this really could be, when we talk about is the window closing, this is it. I mean, this season is it because you're right. Dombrowski, there's no guarantee he gets another shot. Topper, there's no guarantee he gets another shot.
There are many ramifications to this year. Let's go to the phones. We got Finn from Havertown on the line. Finn, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, Mike?
Good, Finn.
I just wanted to talk about Andrew Painter and then one other thing.
Yes.
First off, Painter, I know he's only 21, but I feel like every year he's getting hurt. And I was just wondering, do you think there's any chance he gets into the rotation this year?
Yeah.
And then my second point was, why was it decided to draft Aiden Miller over a Delaware County native and Monsignor Bonner legend Kevin McGonigal, who just hit a solo homer off of Aaron Nola?
I saw that. I saw that home run. Well, I guess they looked at the other guy as more of a power hitter, a consistent power hitter, from the right side, by the way. So that's why. Aiden Miller was a higher ranked prospect before he got hurt in high school. That's what he was on. They were on the USA national team together, and he was actually McGonigal's backup. Oh, he was
at shortstop.
Well, he was. Was he younger?
No,
Aiden Miller younger? They're the same age? I don't know, man. I wasn't in their draft room, but I think Aiden Miller's going to be a pretty good player, so I don't think that they lost that much.
I'm not saying he won't be, but I'm not.
I know. You're provincial. You a Bonner guy?
I am.
All right. Well, you should be.
Yeah,
you should. You should be backing your guy. All right, man. You want to play General Knowledge with us?
Of course.
All right, here we go. General Knowledge, brother. It is the general knowledge category. What scientist supposedly had a moment of inspiration while sitting under an apple tree? The apple hit him on the head.
It's not Albert Einstein, was it?
No. It is not Albert Einstein. Sorry,
sir.
Bro.
It's a sir.
Yeah. My man was sitting under a tree reading a book, and all of a sudden, bang.
Sir Isaac Newton.
Right on the cantaloupe.
And then he said, gravity.
Yes.
9.8 meters per second.
Yeah. Look at you. Look at you, Eustace. All right, Ray. It's up to you. Ray, what two elements are combined to make bronze? Ooh. Take your element table. Two elements that are combined to make bronze.
My 8th grade science teacher is going to be livid with me.
I know.
Copper and oxygen. I don't know.
Copper and oxygen?
I don't know.
Yeah, one of
He
them,
was
right?
close. Yeah, right?
Copper and Bill?
I don't know. But I know he was close with the copper.
Copper and tin.
Tin.
And
There you go.
Tin. Yeah, with you got the silver and you got the copper. And it blends into a lighter bronze.
all right, so 0-0, but Ray's was harder. People in the YouTube chat are saying it's not a good look that he admitted to going to Monsignor Bonner, our caller, and then guessed Albert Einstein got hit in the head with the apple. Not a good sales pitch for Monsignor Bonner.
Well, of course, the Bonner kids were the ones that caused that mayhem at the ballpark that one year. Remember that?
Oh, where they got in the fight in the upper deck? At the Phillies
Bonner
game?
kids don't play, Bill.
No, they don't.
Hardcore Delco. What's harder core, O'Hara or Bonner?
It's a toss-up probably, right?
I don't know.
What do you think, Ray?
The Bonner or the O'Hara kids would have to answer that question.
Isn't Kincade an O'Hara? An O'Hara kid?
Kincade is an O'Hara kid. So he would have to answer that question. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
live, and the people we run into are not live. So we can be rude and not hold the conversation, or we can just try to ease out of a conversation quickly and get back here.
Yeah, it's not easy.
This is like complete radio problems that people look. They go,
They don't
oh
care.
yeah, they get back in time. We don't care what your excuse is.
But Mikey Miss got here early today.
Well, we
were practicing a little bit.
We threw up. So I haven't shot a basketball in many years. So I just wanted to. We have a basketball court here on the grounds outside of the parking lot, which is pretty nice, actually. And,
Yeah, it was nice.
And they used to have that closed off, that only people that worked here could play.
Now it's open to the public.
Now it's open to the public. So when we leave, there's all kinds of games going on there. But anyway, I just wanted to get some shots up. Billy Boy, who Ray, you have him as the second favorite in tonight's knockout.
Second favorite.
Made 6 in a row out of the shoot.
Yeah, then I went
Why
cold.
second?
That's when I went cold. So let's hope that continues tonight with the streak. But, all right, what are we at? 0-0 on general knowledge.
Yes. All right.
Talking fightings.
I want to do something a little unique right now with the Phillies season. I want to hold a little draft between us.
All right, we're drafting our own lineup
You're
here.
going to draft your own lineup, and we got to do this randomly here. So let me see if I have a. You have a coin on you,
I don't.
Ray? You have a coin?
Don't believe so.
All right.
Let me see. I can check my bag real quick.
You got to find somebody with a coin, and then flip a coin because to be fair, somebody gets the first pick, and then you go down accordingly, and then you just you re-rack it.
Yeah.
From that point on.
Red, you got anything?
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
I found a penny.
Well, oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right, Ray. You flip that penny in the air. Bill, you call it while it's in the air.
All
All right, you ready?
Yep. Tails never fails.
Heads.
It's heads.
I actually want to make sure that because people are gonna be like, "Oh, he hates Bill."
All right,
he
so
hates Bill.
Bill loses. Now this is between Ray and me. All right, so Ray, you are now locked into second place at least. Flip the coin.
Okay, you calling it?
I'm calling
All
it.
right, sounds good.
Heads.
It ended up being heads the way it fell. So there you go.
Heads.
All right, so
I
you're
get
picking
the
first.
pick. Ray gets the second pick. Bill, you get the third pick, but then it goes in reverse order.
Now, are we just doing this any player, or we're going to go position and then you all pick one?
Position by position.
All right.
All right? So if we do first base first, it's my first pick. So first base, I am going, obviously, Ryan Howard.
Obviously, he says.
Yes.
Obviously over Bryce Harper. You're taking Ryan Howard over Bryce.
I always thought I could use Bryce for the outfield.
Look at this strategy. Bryce Harper's not going to get to you.
Yeah, because he's going off the board right now.
Okay, you're going to all right, go ahead. You can take him.
Wait, is that who you're taking, Ray?
Ray's got
Yeah,
Bryce.
if we're going first base.
Ray's got Bryce Howard.
Bryce Harper. Bryce Howard would be a great player,
You
though.
got Bryce Howard. All right, Bryce Howard. Did I just screw up?
You may have. I mean, you can't go wrong.
I was thinking first base. I wasn't. He didn't pop into my head over Ryan Howard.
Well, if you get Ryan Howard during that 4-year stretch where he was unbelievable.
All right. Well, Bray's got a good player there at first base. So, Bill, who you got?
For me, it's coming down to, do I want Crucker or do I want Rose? I'm going to go with a little fire. I'm going to go take Pete Rose.
Pete Rose is your first baseman. So far, pretty solid first round.
All right. We'll see who has the
I had
better
the
team.
first pick, and I may have messed up.
I don't think you could go wrong with
No?
Howard. I mean, I think if you took Harper, Ray, you were taking Howard, right? I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
1A,
absolutely. I thought I was getting Howard. I was going to break out the Howard jersey. The whole thing.
1 and 1A.
All right, let's go to the text board. Right, we got any text here on this Philly thing and what it means. It's funny because yesterday we took a lot of calls and people go, "Oh, just enjoy the season." Well, we're going to enjoy the season. Believe me, we're going to follow every game. Tomorrow's the opener. We're going to be all over it. The home opener. All this is going to be fun to follow the season, but we can't ignore the ramifications of this season. Because when you start a season, it's like the Sixers started this season. What were the ramifications? What were we talking about? Can they get past the second round with this new configuration? That was what we were talking about.
Yep.
And yeah, they had to go through 82 games. And we saw where the season deteriorated. So you can look at this Philly season and go, if they don't get off to a good start, what happens to them? Where are they destined only to be a wild card team? Can they actually win the division and get a better seeding? Or are they going to be in a first round matchup with the New York Mets? You have to consider it.
And if that was to happen and they would lose in the first round of the playoffs, it would be a disaster.
What happens? What happens manager-wise? What happens general manager-wise? What would Middleton do? Middleton is not like Josh Harris. He's a little more proactive. He wants to win. He wants to win. Josh Harris, I think, wants to make money.
Yeah, there's a lot of
All right.
ramifications.
We'll get to the text board after this. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn, and this update is brought to you by Corona. Don't miss the Mike Missanelli Show live from Chickies and Pete's on the Boulevard in the Northeast on March 31st for the home opener. Thanks to Corona. Join him from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for awesome prizes, $5 Corona bottles, and $4 Modelo drafts. We're now under a month away from the NFL draft, and one of the big questions for the Eagles, what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about what the future holds for one Dallas Goddard.
I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
We'll keep you updated if he does take a restructure and ends up a Philadelphia Eagle, or if he's on the move. Elsewhere, the Phillies open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies will attempt to make the postseason for a fourth consecutive season for just the second time in franchise history this year. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals in back-to-back games. They've now lost 11 of their last 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. 76ers entered the game tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. The Wizards own the worst. You can catch the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We got some text in there. So let's see what we got with the text board. What are people saying about Bryce, Ray, if anything?
All right, we got a texter saying that right now Harper is Lindros. Some team success, including each having one finals appearance, some MVP level play, some injuries, but overall, I'm disappointed in the team, not the player.
Whoa! Lindros, is that a decent comparison?
It is a decent comparison. I mean, I got to go back. I mean, it was a long time, Eric Lindros, but
Because we put it on him, too. He's got to lead a large 20-member hockey team, right?
yeah, it's hard to compare the two because of how it ended here with Lindros. It was just so controversial, and him forcing his way back in that postseason against the Devils and then getting lit up by Stevens. The whole thing was just weird. But it's not a bad comparison, I guess. It's not all on Eric.
All right, let's go to the phones. We got M from the Northeast. He's going to settle this Bonner O'Hara thing, too, I think. What's up, M? Hello, M. M from the Northeast.
Hello.
There he is.
Hey, there you go. I hit the wrong button. What do I know? I'm
yeah,
74 for crying out loud.
What's happening?
Bonner High, we're loyal. Bonner High, we're true. We will fight and fight, we Friars. We owned O'Hara.
Really?
You know,
Bonner tougher than O'Hara.
We would go out there in the morning and steal their lunches and go back to Bonner.
I don't know. See, that's not what I'm hearing. I think O'Hara kids are tough.
Yeah.
Now both of you are tougher than Carroll kids. I get it, but you know, you Delcos. I don't know. The Bonner O'Hara wrestling match.
Really, O'Hara, Broomall. You know, they're in Delco, but it's Broomall, Newtown Square. You know, we had places like Lansdowne, Upper Darby.
Upper Darby. You're right. It's tough to beat that. Drexel Hill.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I know. I got you. Maybe Bonner has a little bit of an edge.
We certainly do. Can't wait for the Phillies.
All right, give me your Phillies views here.
I agree with you. I don't think Dombrowski's done what he should have had. And we all need to realize and just understand that this is the last year for this group. Come heck or high water. Even if they win, they won't. There's a number of them that won't be back next year. So I'm just waiting. I don't believe in skating past the regular season. Mainly, as I said, I'm 74 years old, so I'm not going to really wish for the October to get here any faster than it does. Mm-hmm. But I'm hopeful that the Phillies can win 95 games.
95 games? I will take the under for a hoagie from Drexel Hill.
Okay, I would say I would bring you a pizza from Pika's, but I understand that's closing.
They're closing down. What is up with this? A landmark, Pika.
I mean, do you know how many pizzas you got there after midnight, for crying out loud? Back in the day?
Pika's is legendary.
On,
what is going on? You got to get to the scoop. What happened?
I have no idea. I can't imagine they weren't making money. That's all I know.
You got to find out on your next report, Em. All right, man. Are you ready for your general knowledge question?
I'm not going to get this.
It's world history for dummies. If you don't get this, I question your Bonner education. All right. Here's the question. What were Germany, Italy, Japan, and their allies known as during World War II?
The Axis.
That is correct. All right. So the audience. Yeah, there he goes. The audience scores one right out of the chute.
Ray, would you have gotten that?
I would have. But, I mean, asking a 7-year-old man, with all due respect to M, that's the greatest home field advantage you can.
Yeah, that was
70-year-old men in World War II.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's why I asked Ray, because Ray's 50
like
years
asking
younger.
Bill, the third-string wide receiver for, the Eagles from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's just right in their wheelhouse.
By the way, you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station. Broadcasting live in the Comcast Business Studios. Powering possibilities. All right, general knowledge today. 4-pack of tickets to Sixers games versus the Raptors, plus a $50 Rita's gift card.
Eat Colita Rita.
There you go. Ray, here is your question now to get even with the audience members. The question is, What city did Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle come from?
Athens.
That is correct.
Well done, Ray. Well done.
You could hear me overthink that with the pause. I was like, this feels easy.
Yeah, it
Should
did.
it be?
It appeared. Sometimes you start to question yourself because it's like, wait.
All right, it is time for the draft. Back to the draft between Ray, Bill, and I. Now, Bill had the last pick in the first round.
I did.
So you get the first pick in this second round with the second baseman.
Oh, this is a no-brainer for me then. Give me Chase. I'm going Chase Utley, baby.
Utley. Oh, man. They had the benefit of you going first at the second base category. It's now Ray.
Yeah, this becomes difficult. I don't really have a second baseman that obviously we love as much as Chase here. You could go way, way back in the day for a Hall of Famer, but that's the 1800s. So I'm just not going to go there because I don't know how he translates with the rest of this team. That's a different era of baseball.
Good thought. I would reject the 1800s player.
Okay, fair enough. Well, in that case, I'll take Juan Samuel.
Juan Samuel out of the blue.
He missed a big one, though.
Well, he did miss a big one. I'm going to take that Manny Trio.
Yeah, Juan
That's
Samuel
my
was
second
good.
baseman.
Samuel was good, but I think it was better to go with Trio.
I don't, actually.
Samuel, kind of an underachiever here. Now, he may have been one of your favorite players growing up.
One of my favorite players growing up?
Yeah, were you a Sammy man growing up as a kid?
I think Sammy was in his 40s or 50s by the time I
Oh,
was...
really? Where did Sammy play?
When did
He
Samuel
was traded
get
away.
done?
Samuel was traded away in 1989.
Traded to the
Yeah.
Mets.
to the hated Mets.
And the return wasn't very good, if I remember. Who did they get in that deal?
Oh, no. They got
Who they
Lenny
got?
Dykstra.
Oh, they got Dykstra?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't they get another outfielder?
Roger McDowell.
Oh, they got Roger McDowell also? Well, that was a pretty good trade then.
Yeah, his
And-
last year with the Phillies, he had 28 homers, 100 RBIs,
All right.
837
I don't know.
OPS.
You might be right. Maybe some people would take Juan Samuel over Manny Trio.
I appreciate what Manny Trio did for them in 80, but
All right, looking
I'll
at
take Juan Samuel.
looking at the right side of the infield right now.
Yes. Here's the thing. The chat board or YouTube chat has to, as we do this in live time, has to tell us who they think has the best team so far as we go through every position.
So Ray Dunn right now, first base, Bryce Harper, second base, Juan Samuel.
Not bad.
Mikey Miss, first base, Ryan Howard, second base, Manny Trio. Bill Colarulo, first base, Pete Rose, second base, Chase Utley.
You got two bad fielders. Your defensive team stinks. I got a power hitter and a slick fielder. Ray
All right, we'll
has a
see.
power hitter and a fast guy.
Listen, there's 9 spots in the lineup.
28 home runs as a second baseman in the
Yeah,
80s.
a
I'll
fast
take
guy
that.
with a little pop who couldn't catch a cold. And that's why they had to move him to center field in the New York Mets. But anyway, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
I'm fine with it.
Let's get back to the text board because I know Philly fans are sounding off here. I know. See, here's the problem. It's not a problem really, but people get uncomfortable with analyzing the whole thing. Like they want to go day by day, and that's fair. Like we don't want to pollute the whole canvas here about this baseball season, but you have to admit, when you're writing a preseason story like these guys are coming to Phillies, the big picture's at stake. Like, this is Bryce Harper's 7th year now. This is the 4th year that those big 7 that they spent a lot of money for have been together. How long can you go with it is the question. What are we saying on the text board?
Mike from Exton. I keep hearing you guys say the stakes are the highest they've ever been for the Phillies, yet our biggest offseason move was Max Kepler. If the pressure had been felt by Dave Dombrowski, he certainly would have cut Taijuan Walker and signed a bigger bat like Bellinger.
Well, I don't know. See, it's unrealistic for me to sign another multi-million-dollar player. I don't think that would have done it. I think their team was solid enough to fill in blanks. Running it back isn't necessarily a bad thing if you have a good team and then you tweak a little bit, you freshen it up a little bit, you spray a little Lysol in the clubhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them shake it up a little bit, but that would have required finding a trade partner for Bohm or Castellanos, which we heard rumors that they were looking for, and there were no takers. So if you couldn't do that, you didn't have the money.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't asking for very much. I was asking for what a general manager normally does when he fills in the margins, which is to give me a right-handed outfielder who can hit you a home run. Like, there are a lot of Adam Duvals that are floating around the league that you could go for and grab for a cheap price. And you don't have to rely on Weston Wilson coming back from an oblique injury. That's all I'm saying. Plus, you can load up your bullpen with a back end that's a little better than what you have right now. Because what you have right now, let's face it, you're crossing your fingers. With the bottom four, the top four, okay, I'm good. Bottom four, you're crossing your fingers a bit.
Yeah, and you have to hope that Romano and Alvarado have good years.
I don't even have any problems with Romano and Alvarado. I'm looking at depth. Your bullpen has to have some dimension to it. And it's a general manager. That's what I would have filled in. I don't think that he has done a good job doing that.
But I do think that as a fan base, we're underappreciating the Luzardo move. Because we saw it last year when you didn't have anybody in the bottom of the rotation. And I get it. We got to deal with Taijuan Walker. I'm not happy about it either. But the fact that you have Luzardo there really changes a lot of things.
Well, you're rounding off an awful lot with Luzardo. I
think it was a good move.
Did they get Sandy Koufax?
I think it was a good move.
All right. You also thought Caleb Martin was a good move.
Different sport.
You look at a name and you go, "It's a good name." Oh, guess what? I look at you. Got to show me a little something before your name takes over.
I'm still going to stand by the Caleb Martin move.
How?
It wasn't as bad as it turned out to be when you didn't have Joel Embiid and Paul George playing. Caleb Martin would have been a nice piece with those players. He never really got to play with those players. So I'm defending my man Caleb Martin.
Caleb Martin shoots like you after
making six in a row.
After bench pressing 250. Mike Missanelli Show, back after this.
We want to hear from you. So text us at 610-632-0.
10-11. Well, there was a result last night. And then there was a very strange comment by the head coach afterwards. And I'm talking about the Flyers who got hammered by the Toronto Maple Leafs last night. Can we hear the horn today, right? Hockey horn today. Yeah,
come on now.
Didn't work out very well for your Flyers. And Blue Line Billy here is here to explain what John Tortorella was actually saying. First of all, do we have the sound of that, Ray?
We should have.
Do we have Tortorella saying what he said after the game? We do, and Bill will explain what Tortorella really meant while the rest of the world looked at it the other way. Here's Tortorella after they got hammered by Toronto.
There's certainly going to be some frustration, but this falls on me. I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now, but I have to do a better job. So this falls on me, getting the team prepared to play the proper way until we get to the end.
All right, not exactly wants to coach a team like this, and I think that he means that he's not cut out for this kiddie babysitting type of thing. That's what I got. You got a different message from that.
Well, I think that when you listen to what he's saying, basically he means I'm not interested in learning how to coach a season where we have no chance down the stretch, that things are falling apart, we're not in a postseason push or anything, which I understand. But the frustrating part is he almost confirmed what a lot of fans have been saying is Tortorella's not the right guy for a rebuild. So he's almost confirming that. Like, I'm not interested in learning how to coach a team like this. Well, that's exactly what the job is. Brett Brown knew what the job was during the process. John Tortorella should know what the job is right now, and I think he's confirming he's not the right man for the job. And I know there are people who would disagree. I just look, he benches Cam York again last night.
Doesn't explain why.
Never does. It's just I don't know. I think it may be time.
I wouldn't explain why I bench guys either, to be honest with you.
You don't have to explain it to the media, but you should explain it to the player.
Maybe you keep the player guessing. The message is you got to play harder to get playing time. That's what the message is. Does he have to really tell guys that? By not putting him in the lineup, he's telling them that.
When you have Cam York this year come out and Sean Couturier, who was your captain, who was just named captain a couple weeks earlier, come out last season after he gets benched and say to the media that he doesn't know why he was sat down, I think that's a problem. Because
he knows why.
But does he?
Yes. Evidently, he's not playing hard enough for the coach. He knows why. Why else would he do it? Randomly?
I look at a guy like Couturier last year. That's where I started to turn on Tortorella a little bit. Because you just named the guy captain. You knew he was coming back from a back injury. I don't think anyone ever questions Couturier's effort.
You don't.
So why are you...
Coots has immunity with the fan base.
Hey, longest tenured athlete in Philly right now. After BG retired.
Should a guy like that have immunity? If you're not playing hard, you're not playing hard. You're not Bryce Harper level player, are you?
But when you say not playing hard, I think Coots was playing hard. Maybe he's giving you everything he's got. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt to be spoken to by Tortorella, and then at the very least, maybe you deflect to the media.
Maybe you're not seeing what Tortorella's seeing when he goes over the game, when he watches every little shift. His nuances are different than yours, even though you're Mr. Hockey.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Listen, I'm not a Tortorella guy. I'm not trying to,
you love him
to boost his candidacy at all.
Tortorella and Thompson.
I've never had a conversation with him at all. In fact, I don't like his methodology. But I'm saying, as a coach, if you're that type of coach, what are you expecting him to be? Like some kind of detente coach? He's always been a hard ass. So I don't get it. Like, he benches guys, and the message is, you're not playing well enough for me to play you.
But does that type of coach work with the modern athlete?
That's what your pals have to decide. The guys that you believe wholeheartedly are going to rebuild this franchise. Danny B and Keith J.
Jonesy. I don't know, man. I didn't love it. And I know it's probably being taken a little bit out of context, and I'm sure that's not what he necessarily meant, but I do think it confirms some people's fears that he's not the right guy for a rebuild. And they did take a massive step back.
Now, did you watch the game last night?
The hockey game?
Yeah.
I did not.
You didn't watch.
I'm done.
You, of all people, did not watch the hockey game. So you don't even know what Torch is talking about here.
I will say I tuned in briefly, and I forget what the score was when I tuned in. I'm like, forget it. I'm watching. I'm going to start the White Lotus.
You know what I watched last night? Every time it comes on. Does
Ray know what that is? Ray, you know what that is? I'm going to make it an offer you can't refuse. You still don't know, do you? Make him an offer he can't refuse, Ray?
The Godfather.
Yeah, I assume it's The Godfather, but it's one of those easy things that if I guess it wrong, I'm not going to deal with that.
It was on Showtime last night, so every time it's on, I pop it. Now, here's why I'm bringing this up. There are a lot of people out there, and I think it's split 50-50, that think Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1. And I laugh at the notion because I go, Godfather 2, you were depriving yourself of Brando, Sonny,
James Caan.
Solazzo, like the whole dynamic of that whole thing. Yeah, that's the essence of The Godfather right there.
True, but you could make the argument that Godfather, the original, you're depriving yourself of De Niro.
De Niro's character wasn't as good in 2 as Brando was in 1. Come on. It's not even close.
I agree with you, but Godfather 2 is probably the best sequel ever made.
Enzo the Baker, Bonasera, The Undertaker, Clemenza, leave the gun, take the gun, leave the gun, take the cannolis. Come on, the couple of the regimes, that fat Clemenza.
Ray has no idea what we're talking about. Ray's lost.
Ray's going to a commercial. I've had enough of this.
I just am keeping us honest on break times.
610-632-0975. How many times Paulie been sick? He's been sick a couple times already. Hey, Paulie, you feeling all right? Hey, maybe you get a little brandy. You sweat it out. Mike Missanelli Show continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, got it. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. We're now under a month away from the NFL draft, and one of the big questions for the Birds, what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about what the future holds for one Dallas Goedert.
I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
We'll see how the situation plays out for the Birds, and of course, keep you updated on that. The Phillies open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies looking to make the postseason for a 4th consecutive season, which has happened just one other time in franchise history. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals in back-to-back games, and now they've lost 11 of their last 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. Sixers enter the game tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. The Wizards own the worst record in the NBA. You catch the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start Indeed.com/credit. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
right, it's 11:25. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. It's a General Knowledge Wednesday. You want to participate? $50 gift card to Readers, plus 4 tickets to the Sixers. Now, tonight is a big Sixer day with the 97.5 The Fanatic, with the big knockout tournament. Bill and I were shooting a little bit outside the outdoor courts prior. I have not decided whether I am participating yet, but Bill is in. I can
the
tell
stroke
you
looks pretty good.
The stroke is, the legs, when the legs don't feel in sync with the upper body, the stroke is a little feeble. So, I just haven't shot it enough to get my legs into a shot. I don't know. Well, it's a game time decision, frankly.
People
But
are going to be
anyway.
on the edge of their seat for tonight.
Anyway, I threw you the ball at the line. You made your first 6. Now, if you make your first 6 tonight,
I'll go pretty far.
You will be. You'll be in the contention.
The issue is, if you miss, you got to hope the rebound goes your way because the person behind you is trying to knock you out.
See, this is where you are an uneducated shooter. Because
Miss short?
You should have enough backspin on your shot with the fingertips so the ball naturally will roll back to you.
Yeah, not if you brick it, though.
Well, if you brick it, that's different. But if you're in and out, that spin's going to come. It won't venture far. If you're in the cylinder, you're fine.
No, I'm showing
Now,
the YouTube chat the stroke. They see it.
You see, you got too much palm in there.
I made 6 in a row, baby.
In any event, Bill, I have to say, coming up a little later, maybe this hour, maybe early 12 o'clock hour, but probably later this hour. You are the most heartless person on the face of the earth.
Well, I asked you about that.
I'm not going to give anybody a hint of what we're talking about until we get to it.
But I know it because I asked you at the break, am I a heartless SOB?
You are. It's like your reaction to this is mind-boggling. And we're going to fix you.
I'm curious. I'm going to say, I know that a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but there are going to be some, I think, that agree.
Really? Okay.
We'll get there.
We will get there. In the meantime, we got the text board. We've got Nathan from Havertown on the line because the calls are live. Nathan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Nate?
How we doing, Mike?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
First of all, my name's Mason, not Nathan. Just getting that out there.
Your name is Nate?
No, it's Mason. Like
it's
Steve
Mason. Oh, all right. Sorry, that's my bad. Mason.
Yeah.
You got it.
I was like to talk about how the Sixers, we got guys dropping 40 points out here when we're trying to lose for this draft pick.
Yeah, they're still losing, though.
Yeah, I know they're still losing, but we're getting good games out here, and I'm sweating these games.
You don't have
We're
to.
out here playing for LA Fitness runs.
You don't have to sweat it. There's no reason to sweat
we gotta
it.
get this pick, man.
Yeah, now tonight they're going to win tonight.
5 years of basketball.
I know they're going to win tonight. Unfortunately, because the other team is just so god awful, you can't help but win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, but who do you think we should get?
Who do I think? I have no idea where that thing is going to fall. The only player that helps you immediately, in my view, is Cooper Flagg next year. And even he has to work.
Cooper Flagg would be, I mean, that would be outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, believe me, I tell you, he's not going to dominate in the NBA his first year. He needs to shoot it a little better. I like his game. He's go ahead, I'm sorry.
He's not going to dominate with Maxey.
No. He's not going to be he is not going to be a dominant player right away. He is too unselfish as a player. He's got an all-around game where he's not even dominating in college because he's a team player. Now, get ready for this nightmare. If the Sixers somehow get lucky enough to get the number 1 pick, he's going back to Duke. All right.
Come on.
The status.
You telling me a guy doesn't want to come to Philadelphia to play with
the way this team is right now, the state this team is in, you think that he would find it palatable to come in here?
If we get him, we have another good 5 years of basketball.
All right. We'll see. I'm just saying what the greatest nightmare would be. All right, brother.
All I gotta say is the Sixers can't mess this pick up because the Phillies did not drafting the hometown kid Kevin McGonigal. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so this is the second time you called here, man. So don't mess around. All right, don't be a jo. Okay, and our screeners, you got to get a little voice recognition. That kid called a little earlier. All right, so his name's not Mason.
So that was the same guy.
Yeah, don't be a jo. If you know this kid, chill his boots a little bit.
Hold on. I want to correct something you said, though.
What?
The draft lottery for the NBA is May 12th.
Okay. So we'll know.
Cooper Flagg has to declare no later than 60 days prior to the draft, which is June 25th. So he's not going to be able to base it on who gets the number one
Okay.
pick.
Well, that's good news then.
Right? Am I right on that, Ray? Is my math correct?
I believe you're correct on that. Yes.
So we'll know before
Well, certainly
the
your
draft
math
lottery.
is correct on that.
Yeah, we'll know before the draft lottery.
Now,
if Cooper Flagg
let's
declared.
just Cooper Flagg declared early his high school class. So he's a young freshman. He can go return to Duke and make $10 million next year.
Probably easily. Yeah.
Now, I don't know what he's thinking. I'm sure he would like to start his NBA career because everybody's saying he's the best prospect, blah, 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 blah. He's going to be number one, a whole bit. So you start your NBA clock right away. However, he's young for his age. So it's not like he's wasting a year of age in the NBA.
Yeah, when's his birthday, Cooper Flagg? So he's 18. He turns 19 in December.
Yeah, he reclassified to push his high school eligibility further up.
I just saw something that made me nervous. Duke reveals massive Cooper Flagg announcement.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Where's this?
That's from last night. What was this? What's the announcement?
Is that a phony
okay.
post?
Thank God.
What?
They're just announcing he was National Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Whew, I thought it was like he's coming back.
All right. All right, let's continue with our draft here.
All right, we're at what position? Short?
We are at shortstop. So it is it Ray with the first pick now? There it goes. Ray, Bill, Mike. No, Ray, Mike, Bill.
Are we not snaking this? Would you give me the first pick?
You
here?
haven't had the first pick.
I have not
yet.
had the first pick yet.
All right, so you get first pick on the shortstop.
All right, sweet. I'll take Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins.
That's an easy one.
My next, I get the next pick. I'm gonna reunite that double play combination.
Are you going, Larry?
And take Larry Boa as my shortstop. Bill?
Oh, man. It doesn't leave much. It's short right now for me.
Always Eric Bruntlett if you want him.
Oh, man. This is tough.
You always get Freddie Galvis.
Freddie Galvis, that'd be another great choice.
Oh, man. I hate it.
Segura did it for a while there. I think the first year, right?
You go Didi Gregorius.
Ooh, Didi.
I think
You
I
could
gotta
get
go.
Girardi as your manager, too.
But can I pick which version of this player I get?
I know you're going to pick. You should pick this guy unless you want to go way back to the 50s.
Ronald Torreyes with runners in scoring position.
I could go all the way back to Dave Bancroft in the 1915 season.
You're cheating.
I pulled it up. I pulled up some stats. I pulled up some stats. No, I'm going to go with. I wanted to look at some of the old timers. I'm going Trey Turner. Give me Trey Turner.
All right. Well, that's no. It's not a problem.
I want the Nationals version.
So far, our team.
Get the Phillies version.
Our team so
the
far.
Phillies draft.
Ray has Bryce Harper, Juan Samuel, Jimmy Rollins. Not bad. Bill has Pete Rose, Chase Utley, Trey Turner. Not bad. Mike has Ryan Howard, Manny Trio, Larry Boa. Two old school guys.
Yeah,
in there,
along with the big piece. And we're doing DHs, right? We're going with a modern lineup.
No, we're not. We're not going with.
You're just begging for power.
We're not going with a minor lineup.
See, well, I didn't know this rule. I didn't know we weren't doing DH.
Stop it! You're begging for power because you put Pete Rose at first.
Yes,
stop
because there's a first baseman that I was saving as my DH.
The most self-serving of all the rules.
Wait, how are we not going to have DH in our lineup?
Plus, he's not using his head to do this. He's actually he's like Mr. Internet. This guy, like you can't. There's not a subject that he doesn't flash to Google about.
Well, he needs the yellow pad.
You realize it's the attorney background in me. I'm going to research everything.
Well, use your head. Like, just think of you're a fan. You're a Philly guy.
Which I can do for probably the last 50 years. But when we're talking, what I looked up was some of the real old timers.
You don't have to go real old timers. You could have gone for this category. You could have gone Gene Segura.
No, Segura, you can't. Trey's, you got to take Trey over.
Gene Segura played 427 games. No, it was the second base. Yeah, I'm sorry. He played shortstop very marginally. All right. 610-632-0975. Could have gone Kevin Stocker.
Stocker?
Stock would have been a good choice.
Nah, I would take Trey over Stocker.
Okay. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
I get the sense that
Oh, 11:40, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. It's a baseball day. I mean, let's face it, Phillies take off the wrappers tomorrow against the Washington Nationals. And if the Nationals beat Zach Wheeler, I'll be shocked. I might have to put a few shekels on that game, by the way. But Bill, Mr. Baseball, we call him around here.
Billy Bats.
Billy Bats.
Philly Blue Line. Billy
Bats
Baseball.
over here, yeah.
Who is he?
So the Houston Astros promoted a kid to the big leagues, and which was kind of a national baseball story, since the kid is just 1 year out of the draft. His name is Cam Smith. And
he was drafted by the Cubs.
Traded in the Kyle Tucker deal to the Houston Astros. But it's been so impressive that he actually made the big club's roster for the start of the season. He played like a half a year in the minor leagues and ascended up and got to spring training. And,
very impressive. Very impressive.
It's very impressive. So the new manager of the Houston Astros is Joe Espada. Now, Joe Espada is giving a speech to his team, and here's how it sounded.
My dream was one day I became a Major League manager. I wanted to make this special for someone, and I'm about to do that. I always said, like, if someone tells me, Joe, you're going to the big leagues, who will be the first person you will call? Who will be the first person you will call? I'll say my mom, my dad, my family, right? Because I think you want to share with someone who's been there for you from day one. Little league, travel ball, good days, bad days. So we're about to do that right now. So I'm going to make a phone call to someone, and that someone's going to come out here. It's got a special announcement to do, okay? Let's see if I can find this number. Hello? Are you here? Okay.
All right, in the background, that's the kid crying.
Yeah, you hear
and who he called was who? His family.
His mom.
His mom.
His dad. His girlfriend.
They come into the clubhouse.
And without fail, it's been universally praised on social media as being a beautiful moment. And I asked you if I'm a cold-hearted SOB because when I watched it, my initial reaction was, I would be furious if my manager did that to me.
You've got no soul whatsoever.
Dude, the kid...
No soul.
The kid who is now trying to acclimate himself into a Major League Baseball clubhouse with grown men is forced to cry like a baby in front of all of them. And he's literally sobbing. So, I love my mom. Love her to death. I don't think I'd want to find out that I made the team that way and then break down crying in front of all these men that I'm trying to acclimate myself to a professional athlete. I'm a professional athlete now. I don't want to cry like a baby in the corner because my mom comes out to tell me I made the team.
What are you?
Am I cold-hearted here?
What are you, Don Corleone? You can act like a man. What the guy? It's an emotional moment. They took that kid to the T-ball, to Little League, to the high school, to travel teams.
But
he makes the team 1 year out of a draft, and they announce it that way with his parents. You don't think that would make you break?
It would. That's why I'm saying I don't like it. And it's not as if the kid just started like.
So what's wrong with breaking? His 24 teammates going to go, who wants a player like that on my team? The kid showed genuine emotion. He cares.
He didn't just show emotion. The poor kid is. With his hands in his
oh my God!
His head in his hands.
I can't believe. I
thought that it was too much.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I think
I'm cold-hearted here.
So you blame the kid for crying?
I don't blame the kid. I blame the whole situation. If he's a big leaguer, I don't think you had to do it that way. I don't think that you had to make him a kid. He's only 22 years old. He's trying to be on a professional baseball team with men in that clubhouse, and by bringing out his mom and dad, you forced him to break down like a baby in front of his whole team. I wouldn't have liked it. Have
you seen Hard Knocks at all? When they bring a guy in, they tell him he's made the team. Or you see what Brett Brune just did to that catcher who was used to be a cab driver or whatever the hell he was, and then the emotion. They want to see that kind of emotion from a kid who's appreciative of getting the opportunity to be in the big leagues. And every one of those guys in that major league clubhouse have had that moment where they've made the big leagues, and maybe they had to suppress their emotions. That almost freed the rest of the team, saying, "Yeah, I wanted to act like that. That's the way I felt."
Look, I know there's a lot of people out there who probably disagree with me and think it's a beautiful moment. I just don't think that you need your mom and dad to be brought into the clubhouse when you make a professional baseball team. You're a professional athlete.
Let's go to Ray Dunn. I don't even know what Ray's going to say. But, Ray, what do you think?
I don't even want to say what I think because I don't think I can actually say what I think. Because, Bill, you are so out of touch with this. It's incredibly unbelievable.
Yo, YouTube chat is 100% behind me right now.
And that's great.
What?
I'm so glad you got that.
The YouTube chat
behind you.
YouTube, I love you.
100% behind me. I side with Bill here. I sort of agree with Bill. Bill is correct.
So, Bill, if you were to get drafted, let's make it the NFL. You get drafted. The camera cuts to you. What, are you going to be stone-faced? You're not going to cry, hug your mom? Not going to cry, hug your dad?
You see it in the football draft all the time, and these kids crying.
Welcome to the league, man. Congrats.
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
On national TV?
Because you're talking about getting drafted. Like, look, Cooper DeJean gets drafted by the Eagles this year. There was a scene he breaks down, he's hugging his mom, right? But it's the draft. He's around his family. It's like par for the course. That's what happens. That is what a draft is. You're with your family. It gets announced. You celebrate it. When a manager, after spring training, tells you make a roster, it's a little bit different. The family is usually not in the clubhouse.
What do you?
No, that's what's making this moment special.
What do you think happened after this whole thing? What do you think? How do you think his teammates reacted? I just want, and we don't know, but what do you think? What they did after this?
Probably went over. Great job, kid.
They went over and hugged him.
Welcome to the show, kid.
Every one of them went over and hugged him, and you know what that is? That's team bonding.
Listen, first, let me rephrase this. It wasn't like I was furious watching this. I wasn't angry watching this. It was a beautiful moment. I get it. What I'm saying is if I'm Cam Smith, I'm that kid.
That he cried in front of his teammates.
I would
That's
not
what you're worried
have
about.
wanted it that way.
In this day and age, crying in front of your teammates makes you look soft.
It's not just that he cried. They turned him into Did you hear it? Can you play the last 2 seconds of that clip, Ray?
Play the whole thing again. I can't believe what I'm hearing here. And I'm a hard-hearted man myself.
All right.
But this moment, to make a baseball team with the circumstances, with everybody feeling the same emotion, every one of those guys that made the team for the first time were feeling that same emotion. They just couldn't express it because their parents didn't come into the clubhouse. That manager made that moment for that guy forever. And you have a problem with it.
I just don't think you need to bring the family into the clubhouse of a professional baseball team.
All right, let's play it again.
My dream was one day I became a major league manager. I wanted to make this special for someone, and I'm about to do that. I always said, like, if someone tells me, Joe, you're going to the big leagues, who will be the first person you will call? Who will be the first person you will call? I say my mom, my dad, my family, right? Because I think you want to share with someone who's been there for you from day one. Little league, travel ball, good days, bad days. So we're about to do that right now. So I'm going to make a phone call to someone, and that someone's going to come out here. It's got a special announcement to do, okay? Let's see if I can find this number. Hello? Are you here?
Now this guy.
Okay.
Hold on. There it is.
I hear it.
There it is.
I hear it. You know,
Like, I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
This manager thought it wasn't. This manager probably never played in the big leagues. I don't know who Joe Espada is. I think he's been a long time coach. Never played in the big leagues. Knows how special it is to make a team. Knows how every one of those guys in that clubhouse had that moment. And he said, "What do you usually do? You call your mother. You cry on the phone with your mother. Instead, you bring them in to do the announcement in front of the teammates to feel that same emotion, that wish they would have done the same thing."
All right.
Before we get to your point, just for context on Espada, made it to AAA, never made it past AAA.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't think he played a big league.
So to Espada, I get if he would have eventually been called up to the show, would have been a huge deal. Cam Smith didn't have to ride the bus in the minor leagues that often, did he? I mean, we're talking about how incredible this is. The kid's 22 years old and he makes the roster. He hasn't suffered the same way a lot of these minor leaguers had to suffer all these years. We're making this huge deal about it. It's a great accomplishment. I get it. He gets drafted last year. He goes to the show already. Doesn't it mean less than it would to a guy who's been in the minor leagues for 10 years?
You know how significant an achievement that is to make a big league roster when you've only played a couple of years.
It's huge. It is huge.
You are.
But why do you need to bring the mom and dad into the clubhouse?
There's something wrong with you. Really.
I don't know, man.
You need sensitivity.
Well, look, just to give you an update, YouTube is not universally behind me here. We put up a poll. It's 45% agree with me, 55% do not.
45%. I want to meet you. You got to be kidding me. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by the Bet Parks Online Casino and Sportsbook app. Play your favorite casino games and bet sports on the Bet Parks app. You love to play, you play to win, you bet. Bet Parks must be 21 in PA or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're now under a month away from the NFL Draft. One of the big questions for the Eagles is what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about what the future holds for Dallas Goedert.
I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
We'll let you know if anything develops with Dallas Goedert in the lead up to the NFL Draft next month. The Phillies open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. The Phillies will attempt to make the postseason for a fourth consecutive season for just the second time in franchise history. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals. Back-to-back games now, and they've lost 11 of their last 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. 76ers entered the game tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA. The Wizards own the worst record in the NBA. You catch the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 11:56. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic coming up at noon. The news at noon. Don't want to go anywhere. In the meantime, apparently, if you cry in a locker room, you embarrass yourself in front of your teammates, and you'll never be able to be a good player ever again.
I didn't say that.
Which is the implication that Bill Colarulo is saying about the young lad,
What I'm saying
Cam
is,
Smith, who 1 year out of a draft is now a member of the Houston Astros.
yeah. So he gets drafted a year ago, gets a signing bonus over $5 million, and within less than a year has made it to the big leagues. Amazing accomplishment. My point is, and it was a beautiful moment. I'm not saying it wasn't a beautiful moment. I just personally would not have wanted to find out that way. I would have rather him treated me the way you treat every other big leaguer. Treat me like a professional baseball player. Every other baseball player's mom's not coming into the locker room with his dad to tell them that they made the team. Don't treat me differently just because I'm 22. I will call my mom. It's an emotional moment for me. I'll call my mom and dad, and I'll tell them that I made the damn team. I know I'm in the minority here. I just would not have wanted at 22, when I'm trying to prove myself as a professional athlete, to be treated like a kid. And I feel like they treated him like a kid.
I think the message was from this manager, hey, all you guys, remember how that felt, that hard work, and you made the big leagues. And this is as much for you as it is for Cam, because I want to also tweak your emotions on how important that you remember that moment being.
I get it. But at the same time, do they really relate to a 22-year-old who blew through the minor leagues?
Of course they relate.
They relate.
You think these guys...
This kid who got a $5 million signing bonus and goes right to the major leagues?
So they're all bronze statues. Like, it's one thing when you get drafted and you sign with an organization. It's another thing when you actually get that promotion to the big leagues. That's the important part of it. You finally made it. You made it there.
It's amazing. Great accomplishment. Happy for him and his family. What I'm saying is, me personally, I would have rather been told like everybody else, and I will call my parents and tell them the great news.
Give me just one text, right, for this, because I just can't.
Meanwhile, Bill watches the video of Sirianni crying at the Super Bowl every night before tucking himself in.
It's not the crying part. It's not.
You somehow interpret this as he's embarrassed in front of his teammates. Like, how could genuine emotion and like make you look like an idiot in front of people? Like, I don't understand that at all.
But there's also degrees of crying here.
Well,
I mean, there is a degree of crying.
It's crying.
Getting emotional, getting emotional, and having tears running down your face is one thing.
So now it's the degree of the cry.
Yes, because when you're a 22-year-old kid and you're trying to acclimate to a professional baseball team, and then you give it one of these.
I'm going out of my mind right now.
That's a little much.
I really am.
Steve from King of Prussia. Bill is so out of touch. That's a great emotional moment. That kid's dream came true. That's such an authentic moment. The parents were there with him throughout his journey. Come on, Bill. Did you ever play sports with any passion?
I understand it all. I'm just saying, treat me like you treat everybody else. You know, I wouldn't want to be treated like a kid.
It's funny that you always say, I understand, but you do this a lot. I understand, but. Well, if you throw a butt in there, you don't understand. You don't have any understanding of it at the moment at all.
Ricky Bo weighs in. Ricky Bo, who's experienced what it's like to get called up to the show. And I'd love to say he agrees with me, but all the text says is, you're a dumbass. Thanks, Ricky Bo.
And Ricky Bo, a hard ass in the clubhouse who played with harder asses, right? Even sees the beauty of that moment.
It was a beautiful moment. Why can't I have an opinion about if I was Cam Smith, as much as I loved what my parents did for me growing up in the sports and all that, I would have wanted the moment to be handled differently. I would not have wanted my parents in the clubhouse.
You're
Ricky elaborated to me. Don't worry.
What's the elaboration?
Bill is an ass.
Well, I'm the dumbass to me, just an ass to you.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station. We broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. And now it is time, ladies and gentlemen, happy lunchtime, and stay tuned for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Mr. Ray, what do we have today for the news at noon? And I'm thinking it had to do something with the New York Football Giants and how Bill's going to rip the general manager. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get to the Joe Shane segment, I'm sure, at some point.
Go ahead.
The big news in the NFC East, Russell Wilson is here. If it was 5-10 years ago, maybe we would care a little bit more today, but we don't that much. But I wanted to take the news at noon as an opportunity to look back at some of the great moments of Russell Wilson's football career. And if you're thinking I'm going to talk about what's on the field, you have no idea my feelings on Russell Wilson at this point. At one point, I was a big fan of the guy. He's driven me nuts just with the very, very annoying, cringeworthy moments throughout his career. So I figured we'd collect at least my top 4. We're going to start with the moment that all Broncos fans knew it was over before it even started, when he tried to film the promotional video for them.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
Oh, no. Was that? The problem with that was, and look, Russell Wilson is cringe as they come. That was a behind-the-scenes video of him doing, like, the promo piece for them. So he's trying it different ways, but it just sounds so cringy when they do it back to back to back to back.
Each one is worse than the last. Each one of them is worse than last. But all right, if you want to give him the pass on that one, go ahead, give him the pass. Say, you know what? That was the Broncos' fault because they let that get out. Here is Russell Wilson speaking. They went and played one of the games over in Europe. Long flight over there. They asked him whether or not he got jet lagged on the flight. Here's Russell Wilson talking about what it's like to be on a flight across the Atlantic with him. It sounds like torture.
First 2 hours, probably 8 hours flight here. That's the first 2 hours I was watching the film, watching all the cut-ups and everything else. And then for the next 4 hours, I was doing treatment on the plane. I was walking up and down the aisles. Everybody was knocked out. I was doing high knees and working on my legs and everything else, make sure I'm ready to rock. So that was good.
High knees on the plane.
He was doing high knees on the plane?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I would ask my agent to get me anywhere else. My quarterback's doing high knees on a plane. Go to bed.
Well, I don't know.
I do get up and stretch a little bit though during a long plane.
I guess
right?
if you can walk around,
the high
you're an
knees
athlete, you want to keep your legs and circulating. I don't know. I don't think that's as bad as the first one.
No, it's not as bad as the first one, but this one's worse than the first one.
Okay.
He went on Twitter, I believe it was in 2018, talking about, I guess he had gotten the impression people thought he was a little boring, and he wanted to introduce his alter ego to Twitter. I can't even prepare you if you've never heard this before.
Hey guys, Russell here. Yes, the typical boring, yes, Russell, the robot Russell, the one you guys love to know. Real exciting. I'm real exciting. But anyways, everybody has to have an alter ego, right? And I've been thinking about what my alter ego would be, and I think I have an alter ego. His name's Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, you got to be unlimited. You got to have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you got to be unlimited. Tell them I'm unlimited. You know what I mean? So when they ask you certain questions like,
who brings you motivation, Russell?
Mr. Unlimited.
Who's your role model, Russell?
Unlimited.
Who is your go-to person for advice, Russell?
They think Pete Carroll, they think this person, think that person. Love you, Pete, but it's Mr. Unlimited. Tell him.
Oh, my God.
He's so cringy, man.
Didn't he used to, at one point, wasn't he cool? Like when he first came into the league, didn't he have some coolness there? He's got no cools at all.
No. I mean, I think at one point he might have been.
He was a two-sport athlete and a whole bit. I thought he had a little cool to him.
I understand why the Legion of Boom didn't rock with him.
Could you imagine the way this town never took to Donovan? Because Donovan was a little bit corny. Russell Wilson makes Donovan look like Miles Davis.
Wow.
In terms of coolness.
That is unbelievably awkward. Right.
Horrible. And it kept going. That's the longest minute of your life listening to that audio.
That's incredible.
But there's one more.
One more?
One more for you. Because he did a sandwich with Subway back in 2022, and they needed a commercial to promote this sandwich.
Hey, you want to split this Subway sandwich? It is my signature sandwich.
It's called the Danger Witch. And it's dangerously good. Be careful, though. It's spicy. You ever done anything dangerous?
This has got to be a crime
It
to
is
lose,
dangerous.
to lose
I've
your.
done something like that, too. Listen, one time, never mind. That's too dangerous. Anyways, my Danger Witch, it's only in the vault. That's our little secret.
Danger Witch.
He can't be this corny.
It was off the menu by the end of 2022.
Teammates really talk about it this way, like how weird he is. But I at one point, where did he lose his coolness? Like, because I thought at one point he was cool.
He's got to be relatively cool. I mean, his wife's gorgeous.
He succeeded too early, too quickly.
She's probably not cool at all.
Ciara's got to be cool.
Nah, she's not cool.
Grammy-winning R&B singer. You got to have a little cool to you, don't you?
She sings religious, though. Isn't it a religious slant she sings?
I think she's a religious
I
person.
think she might be a little corn, too.
You think she's cheesy, too?
But, man, so he's not going to be dangerous to the Eagles?
Well, now you're going to have
New Giants quarterback.
New Giants quarterback is not going to be dangerous.
You're going to have Mr. Unlimited with Jameis Winston. What a combo.
Yeah, how about that combo? You could tape those two guys together where you wouldn't get a quarterback.
You get one heck of a pregame speech, though.
You get the duct tape and tape them both together, you wouldn't get one.
It's going to be a weird locker room.
610-632-0975. Back to our Phillies draft, and Mikey Miss has the next pick. He has the next first pick. And guess what the position is?
Pedro Feliz?
Third base.
Michael Franco.
Mike Missanelli show continues.
Tyrone Johnson.
Sometimes you gotta bleed to know.
All right, it is 12:12. Mike Missanelli Show. 610-632-0975 is how you get in via call, via text. We do have a call on the line. It is Q from Center City. What's up, Q?
Mike Missanelli.
How you feeling, Q?
I'm all right, man. Bill got me a little vexed, though. I can't.
I know. He's got a lot of people vexed.
I know. It's a bad take I have on this.
No, let me say this. No, Bill, Bill, this is typical of your, like, you are the football guy. It's like a football take in a sense. But let me spread it around a little bit. This thing was good for, like, anybody at any industry. I don't care what it is. Anybody who had a goal, bro, and they actually got them. You keep talking about 22 professional. That don't got nothing to do with it.
No, I understand the moment, Q. I understand the moment, and I understand it's a magical moment. I just don't know if you needed to bring his parents into the clubhouse. That's my take on it. Let him call his parents and tell them how great it is.
But my thing is this, though. It was a way that I'm quite sure he appreciated. It seemed like he appreciated. He had a little laugh at the end. It seemed like everybody in that room might appreciate it. That is the one thing that they all can agree on. Everybody had a role, despite he got there really fast. Somebody got there really, 30-year-old rookie. It don't matter. Everybody, it's the journey.
And I'm going to tell you something else, Q.
And the people that got you there.
I'm going to tell you something else. That kid must have really been impressive during spring training because you don't do that to an idiot. You've got to be accepted by your teammates. They must have really bonded with that kid for that manager to think of doing that, to create that moment. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
He had a hell of a spring.
And when I watched,
the kid hit 4 home runs, batted .342 this spring.
But he's probably a good kid too. He probably is a selfless kid that didn't intrude on anybody. Realized his place. He was a young kid, and I'm sure his teammates accepted that, and that's why that manager did that.
Absolutely. I mean, like when I watched it, I felt some type of way, and we all can sit there and think about when you got on the radio, when you started, whenever your little goal is, and the people that helped you get there, and how disappointed it might have been.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know the first day Bill spent with me, he cried during the break. He didn't show it. He was afraid to show it to the people, but he had genuine emotion working with me.
Yeah, but what they did was our program director, Scott Masteller, he called in my mom and dad, and they came into the studio, and they said, Bill, we want you to know you and Mike Missanelli are going to work together. And then I said,
you did, and guess what? Grandma Ellie called in, and your whole family freaking called in.
That's true. That is true.
All right, now Q. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
And this thing here, me personally, I just think more men need to cry more. You don't need a reason to cry, bro.
I hear you.
Really, you don't. Like if it's something that touches you and you move to tears, think about Jim Balvano and what he said, what the old priest said to him.
Cry, laugh.
He said every day. He said one day, every day you wanted your emotions to move to tears. That's a full day. That's a great day.
That's a great day.
Like, come on, man. If you can get your emotions, somebody got you to your emotions got moved to tears. Man, that's a full day. That's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Exactly. I cried on the air my last day here many years ago. You remember that, Q?
Mike, how about when you rolled, bro? It was a lot of people crying. I'm being honest.
Right. Well,
I turned the station off. I was done with the station.
I was overcome with emotion that day. You know?
I know.
Because of some evil general manager. All right, now listen, man. I'm going to give you a general knowledge question, but it's not general knowledge. It's give me 3. So of the teams left in the NCAA tournament, you got to give me the first 3 names that pop into your head. If I say the school Kentucky, give me the first 3.
Adolph Rupp.
Ooh, going Adolph Rupp.
What's the McCarty guy that used to play for the Boston Celtics?
Walter McCarty.
And Roger Groves.
Who? Roger Grove, he said.
Roger Grove.
Who's Roger
Played
Grove?
with Jamal Mashburn.
Roger Grove? Of all the great Kentucky players, you come up with Roger Grove?
Can we confirm this?
I used to love Roger Grove when he was a freshman. I think it got something to do with I was in high school, and we was really, really into ESPN and college basketball. It was really big. Roger Grove was, he was pretty good.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Rose?
Roderick Rose. He got drafted by the
Roderick
Rockets.
Rhodes. Roderick Rhodes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I thought he said Roger Grove.
Yeah, I thought he said Roger Grove too. All right, but so he passes the test in Kentucky. But there's so many from Kentucky.
How do you not go with Tyrese?
Get John Wall.
How do you not go with Maxey?
Nerlens Noel.
No, we don't talk about Nerlens Noel.
Aaron Harrison.
Cat.
Justin Edwards.
There's a lot.
Tony Delk.
All right, but the callers are up 2-1.
Yes, Ray. Purdue.
Ooh. Drew Brees.
Good one.
Zach Edey. Third one here. There's gonna be one of those schools that upsets me once I realize how many people are for Duke.
Quarterback, now commentator. Long-time college commentator.
Long-time college commentator. College football commentator.
College football commentator. Works with Ness.
Sorry, I'm distracted now, so I'm just going to hit the buzzer.
Uh-oh. Ray taking himself out.
Ray gives him
Gary Danielson.
People in the YouTube chat, are these accurate? Will Levis?
How about Calvin Williams?
Will Levis.
Ex-Eagle.
Oh, they're talking Kentucky.
They went Kentucky with Will Levis. That's right. Tim Couch. Was he Kentucky or Purdue? I can't tell if they're behind.
Kentucky.
All right, now they're on. Jim Everett.
Purdue.
Kyle Orton.
Quarterbacks Purdue produced.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike Allstott.
The running back. That's right. Was a Purdue man.
Those are some good ones. By the way, in that video of Cam Smith and the Houston manager, what they didn't show that got cut off was then afterward they talked about how when the mom is out in center field and she holds up her left hand, that means a curveball's coming. See, instead of banging on the trash can in Houston, they're going to change it up this year, and they're going to use Cam Smith's family to kind of signal what the pitches are.
That's not even mildly amusing, or does it connect?
I wonder if the Houston. That's the reason I bring this up. Is I wonder if my hatred for the Astros is clouding my judgment about the whole Cam Smith.
It clouds your judgment all the time.
Because I do dislike the organization, and I know they've made changes, but I think maybe that's part of what's happening.
Well, you do that all the time. You don't even know you're doing it. You have the hatred for something, and it comes out of your pores. What was the big example?
Well, you think that my hatred for Dan Campbell clouds my judgment.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. Classic example.
Hatred for Joe Shane clouds my judgment.
You're just
what else clouds my judgment? I don't think much. I think I'm pretty level-headed. Don't you agree, Ray?
When Ray is speechless, he speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're now 1 month away from the NFL Draft, and one of the big questions for the Eagles is what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday, talked about what the future holds for Dallas Goedert.
I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
We'll keep you updated with anything that might happen with regards to Dallas Goedert, as, of course, we are under a month away from the NFL Draft. Look at the Major League Baseball. It's opening up. The Phillies open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals. Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies looking to make postseason for a fourth consecutive season for just the second time in franchise history. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals now in back-to-back games, and they've lost 11 of their last 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. 76ers entered the game tied for the fifth worst record in the NBA, and the Wizards own the worst record in the NBA. Catch the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. The Jackson Hewitt Expert Tax Prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
You have such a football mentality. It's like ingrained in you. And you have a hockey mentality too. Like hockey players would never cry in a locker room. Baseball players are a little more sensitive. Basketball players a little more sensitive. Football players to the extent. But you're like, Mr. Workout, kind bar, protein shake, no room for crying.
Well, in the words of your favorite actor of all time, there's no crying in baseball, Mike.
Oh, good, of course. And there you go, that old tired line that comes out.
I can't believe you didn't like him as a manager in that movie.
It was such a horrible cliche. First of all, he was too young. I'm not going to buy some young guy being an old baseball curmudgeon.
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan. He was great in that.
Oh, my God.
Ray, you don't agree with me on many things. Tom Hanks, League of Their Own.
I enjoyed it, yes.
It was great.
He always has like a fake voice that he has to put in there. Like, I don't know. Don't get me started on Tom Hanks.
I'm just hearing.
People think I don't like him.
You're a hater.
It's not like
you're hating on him.
Don't like him. Is that people think he's like this great actor.
You have one movie that you could cite to. One. That he wasn't a believable hitman in Road to Perdition. That's it. You got nothing else.
He only did 2 good movies in his whole existence.
Oh, you're no way.
Philadelphia and Saving Private Ryan. And if you want to, volleyball, if you want to put that one in there, I guess. He cried in volleyball, didn't he?
Volleyball?
Yeah. That's when that was called.
Castaway was excellent. You're not going to disgrace it by calling it volleyball.
Wasn't it called volleyball?
Wilson! Yes. He's great in that. He's good in Apollo 13, Forrest Gump. The list goes on and on. League of Their Own.
Forrest Gump was a cliche-ridden, goofball voice type of, come on.
Yeah, just happened to win Best Picture.
Yeah, well, of course. The picture was good.
Did it win Best Picture? He won Best Actor.
The premise of it was good, but I could have done the voice. It's like...
It did win Best Picture.
Come on, man. You gotta be more than the voice. You know what I'm saying? De Niro's a voice. Yeah, not a voice. He's an actor.
Your position on Tom Hanks is so off. And you never saw Captain Phillips. He's excellent in Captain Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that, Ray?
I did.
Great movie, Captain Phillips. And I know I overuse great, but that one deserves a great.
Not a great movie.
All right, why don't you pick a third baseman?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Look, I've decided it's over. The competition might be over because it's my first pick here.
I think Mike strategically did this so he would get the first pick.
I won the toss.
Yeah. I did notice that. I thought we were doing a snake, and then I got to go first last round. I didn't understand why I was going to go first.
Well, now you know.
I'm doing it legitimately here. It's my turn to get the first pick.
He wanted Michael Jack.
Michael Jack Schmidt is my third baseman. Who you guys got?
Wait, who's up, me or Ray?
I believe it's Ray.
I'm actually... Would I be able to just see where Bill goes with this? Because I'm not happy with one of the two.
Are you deferring your pick?
You're going to defer. You deferring to me?
Nah, I'll just take Scott Rowland.
Damn it, that's who I wanted. I wanted Scott Rowland.
Snotty Rowland. He's going with Snotty Rowland.
I wanted Rowland.
Bill, who you got?
I guess I got to go way back to Dick Allen.
You're going to Dick Allen as a third baseman? He only played there a couple of years.
Who else you got?
Well, there's plenty of guys you can go with. Actually,
who would you go with at third over Dick Allen?
Probably Wes Helms, if I had to guess.
No, you don't go. You wouldn't go Wes Helms, but there's plenty of choices.
Polanco.
Yeah, you could go Polanco.
No, you made the right choice with Dick Allen.
You can go Bohm. You can go Charlie Hayes.
Nah, give me Dick Allen.
You can go Pedro Feliz.
Pedro Feliz. He did his job.
Well, who are you going with?
I'm going with Dick Allen.
I don't know. You can have Dick Allen.
Why not?
He's not a third baseman, really.
Oh, let me see. How many games did he appear in the third base?
I don't think he was very long at third base, to be honest with you.
Dude, he played in 1964. He played 162 games at third.
1 year.
1965, 160.
Okay.
1966, 91.
Okay.
121 and 67.
All right, you got it. I didn't realize he played 4 years like at third base.
Yeah, Dick Allen. Man.
Okay, you got Dick Allen. All right, so far the teams. Ray, Bryce Harper, Juan Samuel, Jimmy Rollins, Scott Rowland. How many championships are in there?
1. Jimmy Rollins.
Bill, Pete Rose, Chase Utley, Trey Turner, Dick Allen. How many championships are in there?
Well, I know at least 2 with Rose and Utley. Did
3.
Dick Allen win?
No, but Trey Turner did.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking in a Phillies uniform.
That's 3 champions in there.
It's a lot of experience
Mikey
in that room.
Miss, Ryan Howard, Manny Trio, Larry Boa, Mike Schmidt. How many championships are in there? Play Gene Hackman. Play the cut. Play the cut, Ray. Play it. 4. Yes. 4 championships in there.
Good job,
So
Ray.
that's what we got. Who's in the lead so far?
Well, I mean, the fact that you rigged the draft order.
Ray, tell the people. Legitimate coin flip. I came out with the first pick. What do you want me to do? I would have been more than happy to take the second and third pick. The coin came up in my favor. I won a coin toss twice.
And then, Ray, he directed that we didn't do a snake.
I don't care. I love my team. I'm good with my team.
I'm only kidding. I like my team as well.
It's up to the people. So far, we haven't gotten to the outfield and pitching staff yet.
But then you threw out no DH after I already picked my first baseman.
Stop it. You messed that up. Talk about self-serving rules here. You not picking power at first base, then crying about a DH is the ultimate self-serving rule.
It sure is. Ray, Harper, Samuel, Rollins, Rowland. Bill, Pete Rose, Utley, Trey Turner, Dick Allen. Mike, Ryan Howard, Manny Trio, Larry Bow, Mike Schmidt.
Is that the natural?
I don't know, man. So far, I could be in the lead.
All right, and speaking of leads, callers are up 2-1 on Ray, general knowledge.
All right, do we have Greg in Bethlehem? The Dr. Mad Elf checking in today. What's up, Greggy?
I'm good. I'm only 2.5 elves into the day.
You got to watch that elf consumption, brother. I got news for you. You're going to hurt yourself. We have to send a rehab guy over there or what?
Well, possibly. I enjoy your guys' chemistry, despite Bill's
idiocy.
But Bill, I love you, Bill. I hope you don't mind that I bust on you occasionally.
I love it, Greg.
As far as the Phillies go, it seems to me that Turner and Bohm have to have, I don't know if you call it breakout seasons, but solid seasons this year for them to succeed. What do you think?
I think Bohm's going to be fine, and I think Stott's going to be fine. As it usually comes down to, it's the run producers. Like, are we satisfied with Castellanos? I know that we up and down with him. Like, is he? You look at him and you're confident that he's going to have a good year? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
he's an example of a guy in the middle of the order that has to deliver. And look, I know Harper's going to deliver. He's going to go through slumps. I know Schwarber, he's going to go through slumps as well. I like Bohm. I think he's a good enough hitter to hover around 300 all year without some home run pop, which means guys like Castellanos have to hit the ball out of the yard. And Real Muto maybe has to hit 15 bombs for them in that middle.
Yeah, if Castellanos doesn't chase, he's solid, but
I can never tell. I go up and down with the guy. I really don't like his mercurial ways, and I think he's an odd duck. But you got to produce. If he produces, I've got to get home runs out of that guy. I've got to get 25 out of him at least.
Sure. Well, he can do it. I just if he doesn't chase, he's got a solid bat.
I hear you. All right, brother. Thanks for checking in. 610-632-0975 before we go into the break.
What, no general knowledge for Greg?
Did I?
You still here, Greg?
Greg, you here? Still here?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. General knowledge question, Greg?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Greg. Here is your general knowledge question. Now, you're a learned man, so you should know this. What tiny creatures from the diet of the world's largest creature, the blue whale? What tiny creatures form the diet of the world's largest creature, the blue whale? What do they eat the most? Tiny creatures.
Krill.
Krill is correct.
Wow, Dr.
How about
Greg.
Dr. Greg with the krill answer?
That's a 3-1 lead, Ray. A lot of pressure on you right here.
All right, Ray. Here we go. A tendon connects a muscle to a bone. What similar tissue connects two bones?
Tendon connects tissue to a bone is what we said here?
A tendon connects a muscle to a bone.
Muscle to a bone.
What similar tissue connects two bones?
Connects two bones. Joint?
Incorrect, Ray. That would be a ligament.
Ah, brutal.
I knew that, too.
All right, let's take a break. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're having fun today. It's a General Knowledge Wednesday. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
now is Wednesday. You can win a 4-pack of tickets to the Sixers versus the Raptors this Sunday, and also a $50 Rita's gift card. Pretty good. Knockout tournaments tonight at the Wells Fargo Center following the Sixers game. Sixers are going to win tonight. I don't know how many people are going to be happy with that, but they're going to win. They're going to beat the awful Washington Wizards. But who's going to win the knockout tournament? Ray Dunn, our producer, has set the odds for the people here who are participating in the tournament, and he has Bill Colarulo as the second favorite behind who, Ray?
Tom Alvord.
Tom Alvord, a two-time winner of this, former producer here, who has been grandfathered in.
Yeah, as an alum,
as a defending champ.
I actually would not mind if I lost to Tom, as long as I beat everybody else that's here.
I would count you as our champion if that happened.
I still think I would get bragging rights.
Okay, well, you could. I don't know if Ray really thinks you can. I can just tell you that Bill and I shot at about 9 a.m. this morning at the courts that are in our parking lot here at 97.5 The Fanatic, and Bill made his first 6 shots.
So I have a shot, no pun intended, but we will see. It's a late night too, Mike. That's what you got to factor in. By the time we hit the court tonight,
I know you hit the baby.
I may be. Normally, I would have been asleep by then.
And plus, you have a party tonight.
I do. So tomorrow's my wife's birthday. So my kids are going to come over. We're going to have the cake and everything tonight. So we're getting pizza, cake. I don't know. I'm not going to be moving.
You might be loaded up. You might be carbo loaded up tonight.
I may not be moving. Like if I don't make my free throw and I got to get that rebound up, I don't know.
We talk all the time. Against my will, we talk all the time. And you didn't think to mention to me before I put together the odds the night you were going to have before this?
I know. It's dangerous, Ray.
Well, Ray, I haven't really heard the rest of the odds. So can you pull up your handy-dandy odds sheet for the people who listen to this radio station that want to know who the shooters are?
All right, so Tom's the favorite. Bill is second. Andrew Salciunas, Connor Thomas, Austin Jones. I found out after the odds went up that Brendan Gunn will be producing the game here. So B. Gunn will not be partaking in the free throw shooting, which is a shame because he spent a lot of time this summer working. And I can now say this without any sort of repercussion tonight. I knocked him out last year. I was really looking forward to the rivalry renewed. And unfortunately, I guess he's working.
See, knockout is a game that's foreign to me.
You didn't play it as a kid?
No. I don't know where. I played on a playground. We played games, man. We didn't play knockout. We played games. We went hard at each other.
So we would play 21. You ever play 21?
Yeah, it's another flimsy game.
Yeah, I would play 21. Or around the world.
Or we used to play fight in 21.
What was that?
Fight in 21 is like you have to wrestle to score. I mean, you get bodied up. You have to score that way to get to the free throw.
Yeah, what isn't that?
No, 21 is you're just shooting.
No, I thought 21 is, and then when you miss your free throw, it becomes basically one-on-one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's roughhouse. That's called
roughhouse. That's what we used to call it. Roughhouse. Yes,
roughhouse. Yeah,
yes.
Or fighting 21.
That's what. Yeah, I used to play that.
21 is just when you get the foul line, boom, you keep at.
You're right. You are right. But we used to play more of the roughhouse.
Yeah, but I never played knockout ever in my life. I never even knew what it was years ago when they started doing it here.
Now, did you see right through that glass? You could see the moment Ray Dunn was eliminated last year, and that's Tom Alvord pointing to him and putting him in his place.
That's a great shot. So you're maybe out for a little revenge here.
No? I'm a showman. I'm about just surviving long enough where we put on a good show. Okay. I'm not necessarily. Well, I mean, if you go through the odds on the website, I have myself listed pretty low here. I'm realistic about my abilities to win this thing.
Are your parents coming tonight, Ray?
They will not be there. No, my brother's coming, but no parents tonight.
Right. If you won and your parents came down to congratulate you, would you have cried?
Would you have cried in their arms?
I mean, listen, if I win knockout tonight, I will probably shed a few tears.
There you go. And because this is a man that has emotion. Unlike
I didn't say that it wasn't an emotional moment.
Bill over here.
I want to be clear. If I win, everybody, we're going to Xfinity. We're going somewhere. This will be the greatest celebration. I won't be here tomorrow.
Look at that. How about that?
Yeah, dude. Who's going to be out celebrating with you? John and Andrew and Connor have to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning.
I'll find people. You really doubt my ability to find people to hang out with. I'll have a great time.
There'll be a big overflow crowds from the game. So you might find.
I'll hit Center City. You know what?
You might find it's already packed, right?
By the way, speaking of that, I saw someone come at us on Twitter earlier, and Mike responded saying, like, we're going to be there tonight. Why don't you get Daryl Morey tonight?
Yeah, let me. I don't have my phone here with me, but
let me see if I can pull it up.
Go over that tweet. This guy, like I've already asked twice this morning to have Daryl Morey come on the show tonight. Now, read this unfair.
So here's the tweet, and they tag me, Ray, Mike, John, Andrew.
Yeah.
It will be a major violation if our local sports talk show can't get Sixers personnel interviews the day they are playing on the Sixers court. Do your damn jobs and get Morey and Harris on the show.
Yeah.
So you clap back. Do our jobs. You don't think I ask for Morey every day? Stay in your lane, Skip.
And then he came at me again, and I went, "What do you expect us to do? Kidnap the guy?"
Yeah, because he says
if they're not going to make him available, am I supposed to knock on his door at home? Like, what do you want us to do? I have asked ad nauseum to have this man come on the show and address some of the issues that I would bring up. And I thought, and even this morning I said, because we have our night, how about Daryl comes on today? I got no response.
Nothing. Yeah, it's not for a lack of effort. We can't force him to come on.
Right.
We got an audience right now.
We do, because they're looking at my dog.
Oh, your dog.
They're not looking at us. they're looking at my dog.
The dog's the show.
Yeah,
they don't care about us.
I got my dog in the studio today because today's cleaning day and I have to get her out of the house. So she comes in on
She's
Wednesdays.
good,
All right, let's get back to the text board. What we got, Ray?
Got people that want to check in on the Phils. We had Quinn earlier today checking in on the Bryce Harper conversation, looking at what this era of Bryce Harper would be. He said, I compare Bryce Harper and Jalen Hurts a lot. Got a team to a championship, lost, took some steps back. The difference, though, is the general manager made moves for Jalen Hurts to be able to get back. Dombrowski hasn't done what's needed to be done to get back. That's the glaring difference.
And I didn't ask for much. I really didn't. And like, listen, the Phillies could really be good. They could go wire to wire. They could win in the playoffs, and everything will be moot. But as I sit here, I go, dude, at least give me a right-handed stick that can play the outfield. That's all I'm asking for. I mean, it's one thing you want to sell me Kepler and you think he could be a full-time player. Okay, we'll see if he can. But there are going to be times when you need some right-handed sock. And if you're going to use up Sosa all the time, then you're cutting off the fact that you could use him as a defensive replacement late in the game or even a late at-bat. Like, you can't just have Edmundo Sosa as your right-handed bat off the bench.
No, and Sosa, even though I like him, I think he's a good utility player. He doesn't have pop.
He's got pop.
No, he does. He's got
Sosa.
He's got 25 career home runs.
But he's got pop. He hits the ball hard. He's a pop hitter, but he's not the type of guy that's going to play outfield and play and get 4 at bats and hit you a home run from left field.
Yeah, but in 6 years, he's got 25
because he doesn't get at bats, Bill. He hits the ball hard. You look at his velocity off the bat; it's right up there with anybody.
He's not a home run hitter.
I didn't say he was a home run hitter. I said he's got pop. When you have pop, it doesn't mean you're a home run hitter. It means you have pop.
Even still, look, this is shocking coming from you because you hate the backup player or the fringe players that the city falls in love with. So I'm shocked that you're supporting Sosa.
You said
I like Sosa.
You said he doesn't have pop. As a baseball player, I can tell you, that's what he's got. He's got pop. He hits the ball hard. It doesn't mean he's a home run hitter.
He had pop last year when he filled in for Trey Turner. Has he had it his whole career? I don't think so. I like Sosa.
I give up. I try to learn you about baseball, and you just refuse to learn. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're now under a month away from the NFL Draft, and one of the biggest questions for the Eagles is what the future looks like at tight end. The Enquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about what the future holds for Dallas Goedert.
You know, I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
Keep you updated with whatever happens with the Dallas Goedert situation as the offseason continues for the Birds. The season going to get set for the Phillies. They open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies will attempt to make the postseason for a fourth consecutive season for just the second time in franchise history. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals in back-to-back games. Now they've lost 11 of 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. Sixers enter the game tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA, and the Wizards own the worst record in the NBA. You catch the game live right here tonight on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Bank of America. Whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We're talking about where we should line up, who you should be behind, all that. A lot of strategy.
This is why I'm out. I can't deal with the politics that are involved in this thing. Too many youngins.
But look, at the end of the day, you got to beat everybody, so it doesn't really matter where you line up because you're going to have to face the better players eventually.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Are you predicting a make or a miss on your first shot, Bill?
I'm going nothing but net on the first shot.
You're going to net it?
Yeah. I'm going to drain it.
Okay.
See, last year I had a pretty good showing. I know I'm being told it was because my wife carried me, but you also got to realize I had only been here for about a month. So, there was I wasn't familiar with anybody. I wasn't familiar with the lay of the land. It was my first time shooting hoops on the Sixers court, So now that I'm a savvy vet.
You were thinking about having a baby?
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, it was my wife's birthday again.
Yeah, you hadn't actually committed to the baby thing yet.
We had left.
But you were talking about it, so I was all distracted about the baby, and you had to get the room, and you get the crib, and bassinet, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you talk about a full belly. We went out for dinner before the game. We went to, let's see if you know the place, Italian restaurant. It was in the movie Rocky Balboa as Adrian's.
Oh, you went to the Victor Cafe.
Correct. Yeah. You ever been there, Ray?
No.
It's a good date spot.
Date spot. You'll serenade your date, Ray.
So what you do, Ray, if you ever go to Victor, when you're bringing a girl, don't tell her what the shtick is, where the waiters and waitresses get up and they sing opera. They ring a bell, and there's a whole history to that restaurant. It's cool. But don't tell her. And then it's like a nice surprise. All of a sudden, the bell rings. She's like, what's going on? And then they start serenading you.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I think Ray's a couple years away from the serenade.
Yeah, he is. He's a couple years.
Ray's going to
More than a couple.
Ray's going to get to the 32 age.
Yeah, that's
all right. 610-622-0975 is how you get in. It's General Knowledge Wednesday. We're giving away a prize. Nice prize. $50 gift certificate to Rita's. Wow. That's pretty good, man. You can get a lot of water ice. It's $50. Plus a 4-pack of tickets to a Sixers game if you're in. Right now, what the score is what?
3-1 callers. Yo, and don't sleep on Rita's soft serve. They got some of the best soft serve ice cream going.
I get the combo. What's that called?
Chocolate vanilla swirl?
No. The combo with
gelati.
The gelati with the water ice and the ice cream.
Yeah. Gelato. Yeah. Gelati. No, a gelati is water ice and ice cream.
Yeah, you got it.
Gelati. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I told you, one of my first jobs ever was at a water ice store.
Oh, really?
Water ice spot over in Jersey.
Pour a little water ice, did you?
Used to do water ice. The key was we would pump it every hour, and that's what would keep it nice and soft. And you don't want it to get too hard.
You're not going to use that as a drop, right?
Well, you pump it every hour?
Pump it every hour? Like, that didn't phase you at all?
People want on the YouTube chat.
The key to doing that right, and he figured it out, is that you have to open your throat completely. You can't swallow.
That was good. Did you pull anything from when we started the show on Monday and the other one that Mike had?
No. I try to be kind. That was just one that was egregious. I had to grab that one.
I didn't even know what I was saying.
Talk about shotgun and a beer.
Yeah, but I know that, but I didn't know that was going to come out like that. All right, so it's time to continue our draft for our all-time Phillies. Since tomorrow's opening day, and we were talking about the effect of Bryce Harper now in his 7th year. What the expectations are for this unit. I mean, these 4 guys, the gang of 7, as they call them now, they're in their 4th year together. Harper into his 7th year. No dividends yet, except for a World Series appearance, which was nice. But, they kind of got spanked in that World Series by the Houston bullpen. And they have not delivered offensively in any one of their last series that got them eliminated. So, it's time for us to select catcher, however, and we're going over these teams that I don't know what the chat board is saying right now, who has the better team, but I got 4 champions on my team. I got Ryan Howard, Manny Trio, Larry Bowe, Mike Schmidt. Bill has Pete Rose, Chase Utley, Trey Turner, Dick Allen as we go around the horn. Ray has Bryce Harper, Juan Samuel, Jimmy Rollins, and Scott Rowland. Not a bad squad. And now we're at catcher. And I believe that Bill has the first selection here.
Oh, man. There's a couple of ways you could go here. I don't know what I want to do for catcher. Do I want to go? Is it wrong to not go with Dutch? You know what? I'm going to keep it current. I'm going to go, because sometimes I think we forget how good this man is I'm taking Realmuto. Give me JT.
I figured you were going to go with JT Realmuto, which leaves Ray next. Ray?
Yeah, I'll take Dutch.
You're taking Darren Dalton. Okay, well, that leaves me with only one guy who happens to have the best numbers of any Philly catcher. So I'm going to go Mike Lieberthal.
Wow. Lieberthal. We could have gone Boone, too, right?
Could have gone Bob Boone, but Lieberthal's numbers are better and than either Luis or Bob Boone, in fact.
Ruiz has...
catch this, the catcher. Mike Lieberthal played 1,074 games in a Philly uniform at catcher, and he had 4,141 at-bats. He had 160 home runs and a lifetime average of 275, which was the most home runs and the best average of any catcher the Phillies have ever had.
You know what else Lieberthal
What's that?
did? Never played in a postseason game.
No, he never did, because that was stank years.
And it was also a lot harder to make the postseason back then.
But I got to go Lieby. I mean, that's I could have gone. Bob Boone. Bob Boone, 259, 65 home runs.
Honestly, all three of us have good catchers.
Okay.
But yeah, Chooch doesn't make it.
Chooch not making it. All right, you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. We just came out of a 12 o'clock hour, by the way. That was brought to us by Service First HVAC, which offers you 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at servicefirshvac.com.
It's a sad day, Mike.
What's the problem?
It's a sad day for the Bishop Eustace crowd.
What?
Tyler Phillips has been claimed by the Miami Marlins.
Oh, no more Tyler in a Phillies organization.
No more Tyler Phillips.
Well, good for him. He'll get a fresh start there, and maybe he can, get up to the big leagues with the Marlins. Because he certainly was not going to get up to the big leagues here anymore, I don't think.
Hold on. I got another thing that just broke. Is this worthy of news?
What?
Jim Nantz says he will retire from calling the Masters in 2036.
What? He announced.
Do we really? And we celebrate that? It's 11 years from now.
Did he seriously announce that?
I may be married by then. Who knows?
What are you kidding me, Jim? Who cares if you're going to retire?
Is this real?
2036. Wait, does he think that much of himself?
I don't know.
Think that's news?
It comes out. I mean, Front Office Sports is the one that put it out. Is that really news? 11 years from now.
Well, does he think it's news? That's more important. Like, well, you're going to kidding me? I decided I'm going to retire when I'm 85 here, by the way, Bill.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I think Jim Nantz. See, a lot of people are killing him for this.
First of all, I really like him.
Oh, he's great.
And I don't like announcers per se.
Nantz does a great job.
I like Jim Nantz. I like the tone. I like the whole thing.
I still just can't believe he's announced in 11 years. Yeah, Ray, let's think about this. In 11 years, you'll be 35. You may be married, multiple kids.
Ray, as long as you're you may get married then, but as long as you wait till you're 30.
That is the rule.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be here. I won't probably be on this earth when you get married, but
I'll be 30 in 6 years, Mike.
I'm not thinking that the next 6 years are going to treat me kindly. So maybe I won't be here.
Jeez.
But I appreciate the wedding invitation, the premature wedding invitation anyway. Just want to let you know.
Do you want me to write it out in the out time paper today?
Thank you for inviting me 8 years down the road.
Check,
I really
yes.
appreciate it.
Well,
put a hypothetical meal on there for you to check too.
Yes.
As we talk about Ray Dunn.
Put a seat there just to vacant.
That sounds good.
Ray Dunn
We'll put a headset there too.
continues to be the pride of Oaks, PA.
What do you do now?
This morning, he spoke at his old high school.
Yeah, so let's hear a little bit about this, right? Because this is a Seinfeld episode. Say, hey, kids, what's the deal with homework? You're not home, and you're not doing work. Did you give him one of those?
Yeah,
right?
actually, it was a whole stand-up set. I didn't do any of the career month stuff. It was just me trying out new material on them.
No, seriously.
It turns out the high school students don't think I'm that funny.
This is Springford High?
Yeah, Springford.
Springford High, you go back, what, was it an assembly?
No, it was just They have like a career room. Like
career room?
Future
Wait a
planning
second.
center, they call it.
Ray Dunn deserves an assembly, not just a room.
Oh,
they
they
should
got
have had the
class.
whole school lined up and been like, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome. Put your hands together for the pride of Oaks, PA.
It was nice. A few of my old teachers came down, said hi before, and got a chance to catch up with them, and then gave my spiel to the students.
Did you weep?
No, I didn't weep.
Did anyone ask you, Ray? Did anyone ask you, so what's the deal? Do you really like Bill? Is Mike that rough off air?
What's it like to work with Mike Missanelli?
I get that all the time.
He seems like an ass. No,
I actually didn't get that one either today.
Oh, you didn't?
I can understand why you hate Bill, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad that we're all on the same page here.
Well, I'm sure I didn't do anything to help that with my take on the
what's
Houston
the
Astros
latest on that? What's going on in the chat, boy? Bill, you've been very quiet with your, the chat there.
Well, the final votes came in, and it ended a while ago. But I think it was 62% said they did not agree with me. 38% did.
Wait, Ricky was out there pounding you.
Oh yeah, he was.
Cement head.
But then I was talking to Ricky. He said, "Well, that's better than the way I found out." He said, "I found out I was going up to the majors. I called my parents, and then the team changed their mind after I told my parents."
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They pulled it back?
They pulled it back after he called his parents to tell him he was going up to the show.
A terrible thing to have happen.
Yeah, it is.
We have a common thread developing on the text line right now about Bill with regards to his take on this. Who made Bill cry in front of his teammates? Sounds like this is bringing up childhood trauma. And that's not the only person that's brought this up, that it sounds like Bill has cried in front of his teammates once. And now he has a little bit of trauma with that. Bill is just upset because when he cried in the locker room is when they told him he isn't going pro. There's multiple texts here with that idea.
Yeah, I don't think that is accurate, though. I'm trying to think back if I ever...
No, right. You got to do me a favor. You got to find that scene in All the Right Moves where Vinny Salvucci breaks down in the locker room.
Sounds good. Yeah. Also, this is coming from a guy whose grandma and wife frequently contact him at work when everyone's around. Another text.
Good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Let's take a break. 610-632-0975. You want to play General Knowledge Wednesday? Hit us up on the call. Back after this.
The Philadelphia 76.
It's 113, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, 610-632-0975. General Knowledge Wednesday. 4-pack of tickets, Sixers, $50 Arena gift card are the prizes for today. Don't forget our knockout tournament is tonight on the court of the Philadelphia 76ers after they dispose of Washington. A critical chance for a loss that they're going to blow tonight and win.
They're favorites.
Yeah, what's the line?
-3.
Oh, is that it?
Close.
That's a thin line. Maybe the Wizards have a chance. Anyway, knockout tournament is sponsored by Barlow Chevrolet and Delran for honest pricing and dedicated service. We've got Reggie from Mount Airy on the line checking in. What's up, Reggie? How you doing?
How you doing, Mike? This your buddy Run from Philly on Twitter. I tweeted you last night that cheesesteak from Rite Aid. Remember that?
You put a picture of it on there too.
Yeah.
It looked just like that, Ron. Yeah, it looked just like that, Ron. Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to say with the Phillies, we won't know since they're a perennial playoff team. We won't know anything until we get to October.
Yeah, you're probably
and
right.
It's going to be a long wait. So anyway, we won't know. But I had a question for you, Mike. I know you played baseball at Penn State, and my wife and I always wanted to know, how can you tell what pitch the guy is throwing when you're watching it on TV? The slider.
Yeah, the trained eye is able to see a red dot with the spin of a slider that comes out of a pitcher's hand. You got to be a really good hitter to see that red dot. Most of the people that make the major leagues do see it. That's why they're not fooled a lot by the slider. The curveball coming off at a different speed can fool you a little bit if your fastball is pretty healthy. So it's a guess, really. It really is. A lot of times it's a guess on whether you can pick up that spin, then that red dot, to know that ball's going to break away from you as a right-handed hitter. And if it's a left-handed pitcher or it's a lefty, that they're going to throw sliders. Pretty much they're going to throw sliders 40% of the time to you if you're a left-handed pitcher against a left-handed hitter.
Well, I know from watching generally, if it's a tight situation, the pitcher normally starts out with a fastball so he can get ahead of the count.
Yeah, but not anymore, Ron. What they do is they pitch backwards anymore, where they start you off with stuff that you're not expecting.
Okay, all right. Well, Mike, thanks for answering that. I'll take the general knowledge.
All right, man. The general knowledge question is from the category World History Quiz for Dummies. All right, so you should get this one. What religion was started by Muhammad?
Islam.
Islam is correct. All right, Ray, here's your question. So the audience is another notch, right?
Yeah, 4-1. Command and lead.
Ray, this is a must-get for you. In what city was the Colosseum constructed between 72 and 80 A.D.?
Rome.
Correct. There we go.
Those were two jokes questions, man.
It's called For Dummies.
I know. That's ridiculously easy.
It's called World History for Dummies.
Yeah, but world history is where's the Coliseum?
All right, let me see, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Oh, you gave me those two questions.
If you can get this question, this is from the same category. So you want to mock the category, World History for Dummies. Let's see if you are a smarty.
All right, what do we got?
What philosopher, also known as Master Kong, was born in China in 551 BC?
Sue?
Incorrect, dummy.
Yeah, that's so much harder than where's the Coliseum? Where's the Coliseum?
This is very, very bad.
Is this a joke call?
What was the answer?
You ever feel like nothing good was ever going to happen to you?
What was the
I'm
answer?
not doing a good enough job.
Ray loves it. Ray, did you get it? Hold on. Before you give us the answer, who is it, Ray?
Genghis Khan?
No! Confucius say.
It's ridiculous.
Confucius say.
How do I get that question and Ray gets, where's the Coliseum? It's absurd.
What are you going to do, cry about it?
Where's the
You're going to cry about it? Should we bring out Mom and Dad? You want to cry about
there
it?
you go, Ray.
Ray needs to catch up. That's why I gave him that one.
All right, it's 4-2.
What was the joke that Uma Thurman told, by the way, speaking of that, in Pulp Fiction? Remember the joke? He took her out, And she wanted to tell the joke, but she wouldn't tell it because it's not funny. And then in the end, after that whole calamity with her snorting the heroin, and he finally takes her back, and they're all wrung out. And she goes, "By the way, I think I can tell you that joke now." You remember the joke?
I don't remember the joke. I don't remember it now.
Father tomato, mother tomato, and baby tomato are walking down the
Now
street.
I remember it now.
Baby tomato starts lagging behind. Papa tomato runs back and says, squishes it and goes, "Ketchup."
Yeah, I remember it now. It was a pretty corny joke.
Yeah.
Sounds like something Russell Wilson would do.
It's a Russell Wilson type of joke.
Mr. Limited.
All right, you ready to pick another outfielder?
Wait, did we do
catcher?
We didn't do outfield yet.
No.
You said another outfield.
I'm sorry. We're ready to go to the outfield.
I thought I missed it.
Let's go to the outfield. Let's go to left field. Who's first? Ray? Is this
Yes.
your pick?
This is my pick.
Ray, all right, Ray, go ahead. You get the first pick here.
I'll go Del Ennis, left field.
Ooh, goes with an all-timer, Del Ennis. Is that now my turn, or is it Bill's turn?
I think it's
go
yours.
backwards turn. Me? I'm going to go with Greg Luzinski.
The Bull. Greg Luzinski. I am going to go with another World Series champion.
Oh, I know where you're going. Number 5. We'll always love you.
Pat the Bat.
Number
5 will always love you.
Pat Burrell, number 5 in your hearts.
Give me Pat the Bat. By the way, as we're doing this exercise, I just saw something on Twitter. You know today's birthday?
Who's that?
Long drive. Harry Callis.
Harry's birthday today?
It's Harry Callis'
How
heavenly birthday today.
How old would Harry have been today?
Let's see. Harry Callis, March 26, 1936. So he would have been 90? 89?
89.
89.
Yeah.
We miss you, Harry. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Goodbye, Goddard. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're now under a month away from the NFL Draft. One of the big questions for the Eagles is what the future looks like at tight end. The Inquirer's Jeff McClain joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday morning and talked a little bit about what the future may hold for Dallas Goddard.
You know, I heard there was a chance that he was going to go. That hasn't happened yet. But look, I see a path for him to be back here. It's just going to be dependent upon what he's willing to take in terms of a restructure.
We'll keep you updated if anything does happen with restructuring Dallas Goddard's contract or if they find a way to move him. Now looking to a team going into their season. The Phillies open up tomorrow in D.C. against the Nationals with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies attempted to make postseason for a 4th consecutive season for just the 2nd time in franchise history. Last night, the Flyers lost 7-2 to the Maple Leafs, allowing 7 goals now in back-to-back games. They've lost 11 of 12. 76ers host the Wizards tonight. 76ers enter the game tied for the 5th worst record in the NBA, and the Wizards own the worst record in the NBA. You catch the game tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Trade your used audio and video gear with Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program. Get the best possible trade-in allowance on new equipment. Visit worldwidestereo.com/upgrade or shop in-store to find out what your gear is worth. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 Fan.
I used to be dreaming.
All right.
When I was driving, I used to believe.
Fan base really did not want to express themselves on where they lie with Bryce Harper, which tells me he's got immunity still. But here's the bottom line. This is his 7th year now. I know he's signed for a lot more years. He's going to be here for forever. I get it. I know the fan base loves him because he puts the fanatic on his arms and feet and head. But 7 years in, I'm expecting a little better. I'm expecting a World Series championship with Mr. Harper and his mates, and he's got a good enough team to pull it off this year. It's just a matter of him doing it. Now, but in honor of the Phillies, and they're opening the season tomorrow with Zach Wheeler, a big favorite to win that game, we are choosing, we're having like a little draft of Phillies players that we think belong on our all teams, and we're doing it position by position. And so we just had our left field with Ray snagging an old school name in Del Ennis. Me going with Greg Luzinski. You know, I got a lot of guys from that team.
Yeah, you did.
I do. I don't know how this happened, but I got Trio, Boa, Schmidt, and Luzinski from that 80s championship team. I got to get some more recent players in there. But anyway, it is time now for the center field draft.
And I think I'm leading us off?
I believe it's me.
Believe we're back at Mike.
Okay.
I believe we are at the top of our center field draft. This is a very interesting category because you can go in a lot of different ways here. Whew. I got 2 choices here, and I hope I don't make the wrong one. I can either go offense or I can go primarily defense. So let me go with I'm going to go Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, he's taking nails.
Sorry, I had to go Lenny Dykstra. His numbers were just eye-popping, whether they were artificially induced or not. And plus, I didn't want another guy from the 80s team. So I'm going to go Lenny as my center fielder.
So you were leaning Secretary of Defense.
I was leaning Gary Maddox.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go way back. Wait, is it my up or is it Ray? I think it's
Go
me.
ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I think it was me because I went. Did I go last?
Bill, I'll let you go right now.
I forgot the main guy.
Yeah,
I'm going way back to the. Is it me or you, Ray?
I mean, it should be me, but I'm letting you have the moment.
Main guy. I forget him.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm going Richie Ashburn.
Richie Ashburn is the A answer.
But Ray, you
Mike.
could then get a hell of a fielder, though.
I could get one, or I could lean a little bit more offense.
Are you going Odubel Herrera?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to go Odubel Herrera.
All
You
right.
taking your childhood?
I think I might go with my childhood here. While I do respect the fact that 2/3 of the earth is covered by water and the other third is covered by Gary Maddox,
Yeah.
I want the Flying Hawaiian.
Wow, he goes Shane.
Shane Victorino. Not a bad selection. I went Dykstra. Ricky gave me the thumbs down as he walked by.
For Dykstra?
He played with Dykstra.
He gave you the thumbs down.
Listen, I know he was a rat, but look at his numbers are pretty good.
They are good, but you missed Richie Ashburn. I mean, you can't take
I don't know how I
Dykstra.
miss Richie Ashburn,
Yeah.
but Dykstra had 289 lifetime average, 388 on base percentage, slugging 422, OPS 810. That's pretty lofty, man. He had a lot of home runs too for the Phillies.
I'm not just saying it because it's my team, but I got the best team right now.
I don't think you.
Sure, if you eliminate the other two.
Yeah.
Dude, I got my infield: Pete Rose, Chase Utley, Trey Turner, Dick Allen.
You have a terrible defensive infield. That might be the worst defensive.
Do you know
infield
how many runs
you-
this team's going to score? And then I got JT behind the plate. I got Pat Burrell in left and Richie Ashburn in center.
And your team is not nearly.
Just wait until I pick my right fielder.
Not nearly the best.
I think I'd lead off too for the right
Let's
fielder.
go to the phones. We'll talk to Will in Levittown. Will, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Will.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Will? How you doing?
Oh, hanging in. No Mickey Moniak love?
No, Moniak didn't make the cut. Sorry, he didn't make the cut.
Just wanted to talk about how, I don't know, lethargic this season coming up seems to be. Like, I just don't have it this year. And I this is like the first year, I guess, since Harper got here. And it could be a Super Bowl hangover. Could be that,
I think that's part of it. I think it's part of it, but I think there's even though they're good, there's a staleness to being good because there's been no changes.
There's no changes. The daycare and this, that. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it at all this year.
I think they were going to retire the daycare. I don't think they're doing daycare this year.
They better not.
Really? That would be the best news ever.
I think they've retired the sunflower seeds in the cup and whatever.
And I would have liked to see maybe Marsh get a haircut, cut the beard.
I was thinking the same thing. It gets to a point where it's tired.
It's a style.
What style? Like, what is that style? Like, come on. I get it. It's stale. You're right. I agree. And I'm not an anti-hair guy.
Did it best.
I don't want the Yankees here, but change it up a little bit.
I just pulled up his college picture. I mean, he had long hair in college too, Marsh.
The long hair doesn't bother me. Get the beard, trim the beard a little bit. Go scruff, like you. You want the scruff.
He has a good beard, though.
All right, Will, you want a general knowledge question?
Sure thing.
Will, you got to give me 3. Florida.
Florida Gators?
Mm-hmm. Florida. First 3 names that pop into your head.
Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier. Wow.
Coaches qualify?
Bust out. He played for Florida, too.
Oh, he did play, didn't he?
Heisman Trophy winner.
That's right. Man, it's going way back. It's funny, different eras. I only look at him as a coach.
All right, give me your 3 Floridas.
Noah?
Joakim Noah?
Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank on Florida now. How am I only saying Noah? Ray, help me out here.
Oh, no, he had my first 2, and then Noah was going to be my 3rd.
Yeah, so Tebow I had.
Tebow.
You were going Aaron Hernandez,
yes,
too?
I also was.
Who was that crazy guard that the Sixers had from Florida? He was very competitive, but crazy. Back in the day. It wasn't that long ago, either. I'm vegging out on his name now. I can't believe it.
I'm looking at the YouTube chat. They're throwing out Vernon Maxwell.
That's who it is. Vernon Maxwell. Yep. That would be my guy. Vernon Maxwell.
It's amazing, though, that there's not more names pop into your head because Florida is a huge program.
Bradley Beal.
Kyle Pitts is getting thrown out.
Kyle Pitts is going.
My issue is always that, like, if you have a professional career, that tends to overwrite my memory of you in college. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
think of
remember
you as
them-
your professional organization, not necessarily your college organization.
Yeah, you remember
Which is
them
why
more.
I usually have to bust out names, because I only remember them for their college careers.
Well, here's a polarizing one. Riley Cooper.
That's right. Riley went there. One of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard in this city, and I'm not, listen, I like to dime people out when they do it. After that whole scandal broke, people were still chanting, "Coop." Come on, man. Come on.
I couldn't believe they brought him back after that.
A, they brought him back, and that Chip Kelly, that idiot, brings him back. And B, people still going, "Coop," as if nothing happened. Like, come on, man. All right, let's go to Ray. Ray, give me 3. Arizona.
Oh, Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Aaron Gordon.
Pretty good.
Back to back. And TJ McConnell.
TJ McConnell.
That's a good pull by Ray.
Ray, keeps pace. We're coming down the home stretch right now. It's 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show right here. It's 97.5 The Fanatic. Back at
We want to hear from you, so text us at 610
140, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The home stretch.
Tonight. Coming down a home stretch. Got to pick out the rest of our team here. But I am being told by my peoples out there in the field that Villanova will either hire Kevin Willard from Maryland or Mick Cronin, the head coach of UCLA. And I asked this question. Why would either guy go to Villanova from a big, high-profile university?
Scott Old.
That play in the Big Ten.
Maybe they're going to pay him more.
They're going to pay him more than UCLA can pay Mick Cronin?
Oh, why else would you
Or
leave?
Maryland can play Kevin Willard? Does Villanova have that kind of money? More than those two big universities that have bigger... Well, I don't know.
Why would you leave those universities for less money?
Well, that's why I'm doubting whether either man would take the job. That's what I'm saying. Like, can Villanova really pay that? Well, listen, Cronin has been a pain in the ass this year, so maybe UCLA doesn't even care. But Kevin Willard is trying to build something in Maryland. Now, he was also complaining about the lack of funding at Maryland's program, so maybe he would take. But let me ask you a question: is that an upgrade? If you coach UCLA, one of the most storied basketball programs in history. You're out in L.A., you got great California players out there. Why would you take a Villanova job?
You get to live on the main line where Mike Missanelli is. Get to be a part of Philadelphia sports, even though Villanova's not really a Philly school. Honestly, you're right.
Villanova is every much of a Philly school.
They proven
they represent Philly.
They don't.
Yeah.
And they proved it last year, Mike. During the Knicks series, when the Knicks beat the Celtics and they tweet out right after the game about their Nova Knicks, they proved that they are not a Philly school.
It's their own.
It doesn't matter.
College is always more your heart.
It does not matter. Ray, our Mr. Temple back there?
Well, I would just go with them not getting off for the parade. I thought that was kind of egregious not to give your students off for the parade.
They didn't give off. But let me ask you, would Temple, if a team... Let's say, we'll go with Hassan Reddick this year.
Very tired already.
Hassan Reddick comes out and has a big game against the Eagles. Are you going to congratulate Hassan Reddick, Temple, right after the game if the Eagles lose?
Tired.
They wouldn't do that.
Tired argument.
Yeah, they'd wait till Monday morning.
Tired argument. If Villanova is playing in the NCAA tournament, they have a chance to win. Every bit of Philadelphia pride should come out. I don't care what you say, them being on the main line. Who cares on the main line? What does that matter?
Let me ask you this.
They're like 5 miles from the city line. Like, what are you talking about?
Listen, I was kind of on the fence with this argument until what they did last year when the Knicks were beating the Sixers in the postseason. Tell me another Philly school.
They were Villanova players.
Tell me another Philly school that would have congratulated their alumni after they beat the Eagles or the Sixers or the Phillies or the Flyers. It wouldn't happen.
Yes, it would have. Yes, it would.
There is no way Temple University would congratulate one of their own right immediately after they beat a guy beat the Eagles.
All right, so you have a problem with their PR staff? Is that what your problem is?
I'm
asking the general question about whether Villanova is a Philly school.
I don't think that it is.
In any event,
Ray, you going to weigh in on this?
Anything I say is not going to be taken seriously in this matter.
Yeah, he's got the inner anti-Villanova thing. You can't,
Now, listen.
That's a course, by the way. Did you take that course to Temple? Anti-Villanova? That's a course. I've heard that it's a course. Is that true?
It's not a course.
It's
not
called
a course?
It's called Villanova Fun, is what they call the course.
That's Bill. Bill put some quips out that he thinks is funny. Did that have any humor to it? Villanova no fun.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Ray. Listen, if anybody should be...
Why do you hate Villanova? Of all people, a blue blood like you went to a private school.
Listen, I grew up, I told you, a huge Villanova Wildcats
fan. Your father was the police chief of the township that the school's in.
And my stepdad went there. He's an alumni of Villanova.
Why would you dislike Villanova?
When Villanova won their first national title, not in 85, but the one they had recent, and they did a parade, my dad led the parade. So, I should be a Villanova guy. I don't hate on Villanova. I just think that they've proven to the city that they're not a Philly school. Listen, if they wanted to be recognized as a Philly school, they shouldn't have done what they
Their
did.
persona is a little elitist. I get it. And when you go into the pavilion at night, you got all these new money Catholics that smell like Old Spice. I get it. I just not like that's not like I'm well aware of that whole thing. But if they're in the NCAA tournament, to root against them because you don't think they're a Philly school is absurd.
I wouldn't root against Villanova. I wouldn't. But I'm shocked that you didn't think there was anything wrong with them congratulating their players literally as soon as the clock struck zero.
Players players went to the school. They were
Ray. Remind me though. Wasn't it like instantly?
One of them was 3 of them, 4 of them.
Wasn't it like instantly when the clock struck zero that they congratulated their Knicks players?
And feels right. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that doesn't stick out in my mind too much. Like you're making a big deal of it. To me, I was more distraught about the fact that the
big
Sixers
deal of
lost.
the silliest things, man. Honest to God.
I don't think that was silly.
Total silly.
I don't think that was silly.
We got a call. We got Chuck. Havertown. Chuck, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up?
Hey, how's everybody?
What's up,
Thanks
Chucky?
for squeezing me in.
How you
Getting
doing?
close. Yeah. Good. Really good. Thanks. Spring has sprung. Phillies start tomorrow. I hope everybody's on board. I mean, it's great. Well, we'll see.
Here's the thing. Everybody's on board. Everybody wants the Phillies to do well. But you also have to have a little trepidation with the way things have worked out the last couple of years.
I suppose. But, again, we've said this before. They have great pitching. Again, we'll see. They have to hit. And we'll see. But I'm my biggest pet peeve, I don't know if you guys have ever discussed this, but they play the Dodgers, I think, next week in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it's a 162-game schedule. Now they have interleague where they play each team once. Why do they schedule them in April? Why not, like, when they're warmed up, I don't know, May or...
Let me ask you a little something here. Is it a little chilly in the East Coast at this time of year? What's the temperature going to be in L.A.? Is that going to be nicer baseball weather?
Of course, but...
Actually,
again,
I think all the East Coast teams should be playing on the West Coast at the start of the season so they don't subject the players to these frigid cold temperatures in April and you know what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with it at all. If they play the Dodgers, it's better to play them in warm weather.
Yeah. Well,
they're playing them in Philly. What are you talking about? Yeah, they're here,
Are
right?
they playing in Philly or Los Angeles? No, I think they're in Los Angeles.
They're in Philly to start in April.
They're in Philly
next
in April.
weekend. They're in Philly.
Yeah, they're in Philly in April, bro. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
all right, Chucky. I got it. Yeah, they're playing here.
Then they head out to Atlanta.
It'll be nicer there, but I don't know why they have an early play. There used to be a time, and look, I'm not saying old school. But
You are an old school. Let me guess. You think there's a lot of walking in the NBA? Am I right?
I don't know. I guess so.
All right, Chuck, let me give you a general knowledge question. Because you're about to lock it up for the audience. What, according to Lord Acton, corrupts absolutely?
No idea.
Oh, that would be absolute power corrupts absolutely. Bill, you're all over that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a legal thing.
I didn't know it, to be honest.
No? Machiavelli also said the same thing, I think. You know Machiavelli?
The prince.
No, he's your cousin, Machiavelli. All right, you ready, Ray?
Yep.
Who said, out, damn spot?
What?
Who said, out, damn spot? It's a Shakespeare play.
I could keep the charade up that I was thinking.
Hold on a second. You're a very good student at the Supreme Sport. Didn't have the English lit there? You do Shakespeare?
See, we did Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet.
Were you paying attention to Lady Macbeth when she said that?
That would have been my guess. That I did not know it, but once you said Shakespeare, I would have gone Macbeth.
Yes, Lady Macbeth said out damn spot.
Darn.
I wouldn't have known Lady Macbeth. I would have just said Macbeth.
Well, you would have been wrong. Because it was Lady Macbeth.
I would have been wrong. All right, so we got a final score then.
Yes.
Ray got dominated.
Yeah,
5-3 callers.
So we have to have a select caller now be selected to win the prize of 4-pack tickets to the Sixers Toronto this Sunday, and also a $50 gift card to Rita's. So you can use that for the majority of the spring. That's really nice.
That is a good one. And we all have to pick our right fielder and our DH.
Yes. Well,
Our right fielder, yes. We have to pick our right fielder.
Our right fielder. Who's next?
I believe this is Bill's turn.
I think
Bill's
this is
turn. Go ahead, Bill.
my
Who's
turn.
your right fielder?
All right, I'm going to go with...
Castellanos.
Nah.
Who you-
I'm
who
going
you
to go
going
with an underrated player, I think, in Philadelphia, Phillies history.
Uh-huh.
Give me Bobby Abreu.
Oh, Bobby. That was my selection, Bobby Abreu. Okay, Bobby Abreu gets the slot. Ray, who you got?
I'm stuck between two. I'll go Chuck Klein. Why not?
You're going Chuck Klein. You're going old school again. He said Del Ennis and Chuck Klein in his outfielder, which means any ball in the gap goes all the way to the wall.
I got Victorino in center. Don't worry.
All right. I'm going Jason Worth.
Oh.
Jay Worth, I'm going. That's not a bad selection for me picking third in this category.
Yeah, he's distracted now, though,
All
with his
right.
horses.
Here are your teams. Ladies and gentlemen, you can vote on them. Bill, Pete Rose, Chase Utley, Trey Turner, Dick Allen's the infield. Terrible defensive infield. JT Realmuto is your catcher in the outfield. Pat Burrell, Richie Ashburn, Bobby Abreu. Pretty good.
It's a good squad.
Ray, Bryce Harper at first. Juan Samuel, Jimmy Rollins, Scotty Snotty Rowland at third. Darren Dalton's your catcher. Del Ennis in left field. Shane Victorino in center. Chuck Klein in right field. Before they had maple bats, right? By the way, Chuck Klein. And Mike B. Miss has Ryan Howard, Manny Trio, champion. Larry Boa, champion. Mike Schmidt, champion. Mike Lieberthal's my catcher in the outfield. Greg Luzinski, champion. Lenny Dykstra, near champion. Jason Worth, champion. A lot of champions on my squad, Billy.
I love the way you introduced my team and Ray's team and then yours.
Well,
trying to convince the audience.
Champion. Wait, champion. That's 6 champs of the 8.
Yeah, I think you got Howard and Schmidt on your team, and I still end up more MVPs.
There you go. How could you beat my squad? Seriously.
Yeah,
By drafting mine.
My clubhouse would leave me a lot better.
You can't
a lot more comfortable. Who's our managers? We picking managers here?
I am picking
Rob Thompson for Mike.
Rob.
No doubt.
Checks out, yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
I ride with Philly Rob.
Yeah, you need that T-shirt.
With the backwards hat.
No, I'm going.
I need him to show up to his first Phillies game with a backwards hat with that T-shirt.
Wait, this was Backward Hat Bro Day, so I hope people enjoyed it. Was I getting blasted for the backwards hat?
The thing is not so much on YouTube because they understood the shtick, but Brandon clipped some things and posted them on Twitter, and people are like, "What's Mike doing wearing a backwards hat? Where's your skateboard?" They don't realize it was a shtick.
Mikey, this is the last time he will wear a backward hat for the rest of my life.
You look good, God bless you. As my grandma would say.
It says, what's it say here? Ryder Cup?
Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup, it says.
Is that in New York this year?
I don't know. This was when it was in France when they got hammered. It doesn't matter.
Whoa.
It's an outdated hat.
Opened up a whole can of worms here in the last 30 seconds.
I think it's at Bethpage Black this year.
They didn't win in France.
Bethpage Black, dude.
Is it? All right. In any event, thanks to everybody for listening. Tomorrow, Phillies opener will be on the air as the game sounds off. So we'll give you all the particulars of that game. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.